Hello, this is Punkbite, and you're now watching Fluff Bites, where the chance of connection is slim, but it's still worth fighting for. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Huh? Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I'm doing pretty bad, but it's just a social reflex.
Oh, I'm really sorry that you had a rough day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope
Yeah,
your day
happy
was good.
belated birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Aw. Blah, blah. Just want to let you know that we are recording already.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Okay. Um, and just testing your levels as you talked, and you seem fine. Um, do you prefer Hushy or Forlung or one of your other alts?
Most people call me Hushy.
Okay,
I like that one.
awesome sauce. All right. Uh, are you ready to get started?
Yeah, I suppose so. I'll make a quick tweet just to tell everybody that we're rolling, and then we can get started.
Oh, I'm not streaming this right now.
Oh, really? We're just recording?
We're just recording.
Oh, shit. I've been tweeting about it and stuff like it was a live thing. I totally didn't.
Do you want to?
Oh, I mean, we can. Like, I was totally.
I was gonna stream after it.
Oh yeah, that's like we can do it however you want to. I definitely have been like posting about it all day.
Oh fuck.
It's
Well,
yeah, it's
that,
totally okay. Just a like communication mishap.
how are you in general? I guess.
Uh,
While I set up.
I guess in general better than I have been in a long time, um, which is cool. Like health wise,
Oh, that's really cool.
yeah, I'm starting to like do regular physical activity again, and I completely forgot how essential that is for like feeling like normal.
Yeah, it probably is taking a while for your mental health to stabilize, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, the past 3 years of my life have been completely nonstop insane, and I'm finally starting to grab onto some feelings of consistency and like stability, which is long overdue.
Okay.
Um, wait, are
Oh,
we rolling or?
I mean, we are still rolling, but we're not on stream yet. I don't
Okay,
know.
cool. Besides music, I mean, I've been mostly hanging out with my boyfriends and um, like drawing dumb little cartoons and uh, trying to save up like some, trying to save up like my uh like the last of my COVID unemployment payments to like get a bigger place with because right now it's we're three people living in a one bedroom apartment, and like there's like not enough room for like any of our stuff or anything, and we kind of like ended up in this living situation together after like a really crazy sort of time where we never really planned for this, so we're gonna we're gonna hopefully be in like more comfortable accommodations soon.
Oh, okay. I'm glad things are looking up for you. I know a lot of people are like a bunch of people in one place a lot, especially for COVID. Most people working minimum wage. If you're working minimum wage, you can't pay rent in America alone.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like anywhere at this point, which is completely asinine.
Yeah, I wish it was easier. Universal healthcare, universal basic housing, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that would be nice. Maybe someday, but it's not going to be today or tomorrow.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but we're all just doing our best under the boot of capitalism. We're all trying to make it work for ourselves.
Yeah. Uh, do you watch streams a lot?
Not really, honestly. I have a lot of friends who are into streams, and I have a lot of friends who are getting into like making like VTuber avatars and stuff, or like commissioning them and stuff. But um, I I rarely ever am able to like put on streams in like the background or anything, because like most of what I do when I'm working all day involves like me like wearing headphones and like focusing on audio. So it's like it's hard for me to like listen to stuff. But I've always loved like watching people play video games, and like I love seeing like people's like VTuber avatars and stuff. Like they're always super cute and interesting, and like a real like reflection of like, you know, what's inside of them. And I think that that's really cool that people are able to like have that in like the age that we live in.
Oh yeah, it's like a big form of self-expression. It's like
Totally.
having a fursuit or something.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Also, it's like really, really hot. I don't know if it's really, really hot where you live. So it's also been hard for me to focus, like in general.
Oh yeah, I totally don't blame you. It's moderately comfortable out here right now, but it earlier in the month it was pretty brutal. So I totally get it.
Have you been playing any video games lately?
Oh wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh hi. Video games. I started playing Persona 5 Strikers a little bit a while back, and I was enjoying it, but it didn't quite scratch my itch to like play a real like mainline Persona game, and so it kind of like fell off of it. I got like I figured out that Kirby Superstar was on the Switch Online thing, like the Super Nintendo game, and that was like the first video game I ever fell in love with when I was like a little kid. So I've been playing a lot of that lately, and just having like a really good like baby time with that.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I love Kirby.
Kirby's a shit. Although I've
How about
never
you?
actually played a Kirby game to completion. I've been
Come on.
marathoning The World Ends With You.
Oh yeah, I heard a new one came out, right?
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
Yeah.
I've been playing the original again. Because I played a bunch as a kid, but wanted to get a refresher. I have the new game like right next to me right now. It's like I'm not gonna open up plastic till I beat the old one.
Right, yeah. I totally know what like that feels like to have the new game, but like haven't finished the whole game, and you're like, I feel like I probably should, you know, finish it. I don't like.
Yeah, especially if I end up liking it like super
Mhm.
much. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, your head is so fucking big. I need to change that. Uh, oh, I guess some people saw your tweet because people are following right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. It's gonna be weird starting up about music. I'll start with just the front part of the bumper. It's like having a radio show, but video. So I guess it's like having a TV show.
A little bit, yeah.
What I was working on all day was like a front bumper for stream, which I guess I'm gonna use next stream. I'm trying to go for a cursed, like children's programming block vibe.
That's like a really good idea.
Yeah, I just made a logo that looks like Fox Kids, and I'm putting it with like really disturbing imagery.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like our whole thing. We like cute stuff, but it's also like really fucked up. Like dark.
Yeah.
It's like our shit.
That's the best. The contrast is always great. I love stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I love it. I love it. People are in chat like, stream hasn't even started. Is the stream delayed? And it's like, oh, it's so funny. This is so funny. Let's see. Whole screen. Okay. So I'm gonna mute you, but I'll tell you when you're unmuted.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Snack, and you're watching Thornbyte. This stream is made possible, and our floors are kept dry by viewers like you. Thank you for your generosity.
Welcome everybody. It's me, Thornbyte. Your dragon hostess with the mostest. So I was gonna stream today, but later, and I didn't announce that I was. But Hushy assumed that I was going to stream our interview, and it wasn't my intention. It didn't even cross my mind to even ask. And then we were talking, as just talking before the interview started, and it was just like, oh yeah, I can stream. Yeah, sure. No, let's stream. This is fine. I was gonna literally stream immediately after anyway, so I'll play more World's End with you after this. However long this lasts. I'm sure this won't be a 3-hour long interview. I'm sure. I'm fairly sure. Preparing for the ABDL essay, Thornbyte interviews Hushy for 3 hours. Hushy, they can hear you now.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for being willing to speak about the ABDL community and your experiences, especially to a live audience.
Hell yeah, it's a huge part of my life and my legacy, and the people deserve to know.
I completely agree. And it's weird to be able to get it from the horse's mouth and not Twitter feed, I suppose.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Okay, let's get some low-level chill music playing that you of course won't be able to hear. This makes me want to pee, so this is a good song.
That's my favorite kind of song too.
Oh yeah. Pillar of water. I mean, Pillar of Autumn. So for anyone new to the stream, I'm Thornbyte of the Fluffbyte Entertainment System. We are a collection of streamers under the banners of queer, POC, disability, and plural activism, I guess. I mean, I talk a big game, but we haven't done much but like connect dots in fiction that we like about shit that we notice is like relevant to like the communities and intersectionalism that we're in. And as far as
people, that's something that people have to do. People need that for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's important.
Though it feels weird to be like, yes, I am a huge leftist voice, and I also piss my pants.
Honestly, I think those two maybe on the surface level don't go hand in hand, but I think at the core they do.
Honestly, I would not disagree with you, because the more people I talk to and the more that I see other like loud leftists in this community, I kind of am like assured that like what I'm doing isn't like weird or bad, even though some people would say, why you gotta talk about your fetish for? I don't need to hear about that. Just talk about the capitalism or the disabled stuff in anime. I don't care about you pissing your pants. Keep that to yourself.
It all goes hand in hand. It's all a result of itself and of each other. Like, you know, it's like I was like with Babyfur's like at the Chaz in Seattle like during the protests last year. It's like,
you went to the Chaz?
I was I was working night shift on the barricades of the Chaz every day for 2 weeks.
Okay, so first we have to talk about this.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it was fucking intense.
Oh my fucking Christ, this is so cool.
Yeah, I'm probably not like honestly, I'm really glad I got the opportunity to do it. And like it was I met a lot of amazing people and had a lot of really buck wild experiences. But I think I'll probably never do it again. I think I had those 2 weeks in me, and
That was
I'm
like all you could do.
yeah, I'm ready to calm down.
Wait, is that? Oh gosh, Salty, thanks for the. Oh wait, sorry, no. Game, game hacker. Thank you for the tier one gift sub. Gosh, it's an honor. Thank you. Shit, we've had a bunch of people follow. So I want to say, as customary to people who follow, thank you all. Welcome to the Fluffy Fold. And your future will be filled with happiness and sadness. But at least you'll have some friends. Oh boy, it's a prime sub. Thank you so much, Like and Romp. Holy crackers. Is it weird to say I was also pissing myself while I was getting all these follows and subs? I'm just like, oh my god.
No, that's cool. This is what you do. This is your gig. Like you ought to be pissing yourself while getting these subs.
That's fair. I'm still like new to streaming and interaction and stuff within the system, so it's not usually me here that's getting embarrassed and flustered.
Right on, yeah.
If anyone doesn't know about systems, the most likely term you're probably gonna know is DID, dissociative identity disorder. Up front, we don't have a diagnosis with dissociative identity disorder, but there is a wider umbrella of folks called systems. Systems would include everyone in that umbrella, from people who, or I should say, systems, because you don't have to be DAD to be a system. There's also OSDD, which is something that's also in the medical context, but we prefer the term plural. Plural is kind of about reclamation of being a system and not seeing it as end-all be-all medical diagnosis. Very similar to the autism and trans liberation movements in terms of the medicalization of experiences. Some people, for example, want to cure autism. That would get rid of people altogether.
Yeah, it would. It totally would.
Some people are very much like, you need to be diagnosed with trans. We need to make sure that people jump through these hoops and make sure so they don't regret it. Think of the children. People seeing being trans only in a medical context. Trans medicalists. They're generally decried in the community. There is a similar thing with being a system. And most people who you talk to will be like, oh yeah, well, WebMD says just make them all one person. Which is not super great if not everyone in your system agrees, because a big part of being plural is autonomy and everyone being able to live their lives. And that's why we are a streamer. It was like, we are streamers that share a body. We will probably all be streamers if we had the means.
I think a lot of it has to do. To preface this, like I also am plural. I also consider myself a system. I'm a lot newer to sort of like actualizing that and like acknowledging it as that, but it's been in like, I've had overtones of it my whole life, and I think a lot of it has to do, like, I think that its prevalence like in our generation has a lot to do with the fact that like on TV and in media, like every single like character is presented with like this certain like, you know, number of very specific qualities, and then they don't really have like this like further depth to their being. And so like when we have those examples, like like fed to us like constantly, like when we're growing up, and then we grow up and then we start to realize that like life is really really insane, and that we can't just be like the same sort of one-sided character all the time. We just start making more characters to deal with different situations, and then you have a whole, you know, like cast of cartoon characters in your brain, and suddenly, you know, and it's cool. It's really cool. I think it's awesome, and I think that it's really normal. I think it's extremely normal, like in 2021, to be a plural person. I think that a lot of people are plural and simply like don't call it that, or don't like recognize it as that, and like that's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, I make the connections with like being trans and stuff in the same way, you know, especially because of, you know, their signs all my life, and like just as you said, we've only been aware of being a system for about 3 years, and before that we knew of each other's existence, but we had compartmentalized it in such a way that was like, well, what's that? Oh, that's just a voice in my head. What's that? That's just a mode I get into when I go to rock concerts.
Right,
Uh,
yeah.
What's that? Oh, that's the imaginary friend that I talk to who sometimes inhabits my body.
Yeah, totally. It's exactly like that.
Persian Acid, thank you so much for following. Your future will be filled with happiness and sadness, but at least you
Hell
have
yeah.
friends. Thanks so much. All this attention and community. I'm actually about to tweet out the stream as well right now.
That's a good idea.
Which is really interesting because trying to like comprehend and do that at once is within my limited capacity to do, but also because it's special interest, because everything about identity is special interest, which I think is actually a thing for a lot of people, with the amount of like trans headcanons for everything that exists in the whole world. Keymash
I'm
Kid,
inclined to agree.
Keymash Kid, thank you so much for following. Your future will be filled with happiness and sadness.
Hell yeah! Shouts out Key Smash Kid, one of the realest motherfuckers alive.
Wow. Plural all. Oh yeah, we have a very plural and multiple like positive community. You don't
Hell
have
yeah.
you don't have to be you can be a normie and be here, but you better be tolerant as fuck.
Oh, if you're a normie and you're here, first of all, how are you lost? And second of all, yeah, you gotta know how to chill.
Oh yeah. I mean, although at the same time, I have definitely met people through streaming that was like, "Oh yeah, you just seem really cool." No, I'm not a Babyfur at all. About a month later, hanging out in chat, hanging out in the stream. Well, I mean, tell me more about this baby shit. And it's just like, I would love to be like an AR trap, but also
We all.
it's kind of hard. It's like, no, my community isn't only for baby furs. But then it's like, but my stream keeps conferring people into baby furs, quote unquote. What it's really doing is making people more like accepting of stuff. I get you with the video essays, and you stay for the pamps apparently.
Yeah, I'm looking really forward to that essay project that you're working on.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck. We actually had to take a break from interviews because our mental health was like the worst. I mean, it's still pretty bad, but like sometimes it's like just this uptick of resilience that happens. Also, probably because we just got on anxiety meds the other day, so it's kind of like, okay, like I'm kind of adjusting to this, and this is somewhat helpful. We're all still on fire, but at least I have like a little bit more mana, you know?
Yeah, right on. I hope that the meds work out for you.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I know that like messing with new meds and like adapting to new meds and stuff is always like a weird sort of experience. I've definitely done plenty of that in my life.
Oh, you've been on a lot of medications?
Oh yeah, totally. Since starting in like the 4th grade.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm on like I've finally like figured out like the medication regimen that works for me. Now that I'm like 26, but it took a long time to get there.
Wow. Oh, I guess that's a perfect thing that I want to ask you. It's not on the list. What do you have to say about like the older BAB community? Because you know a lot of people have the perception that as you get older in this community, that people will shun you or treat you badly or only expect you to be a big or something.
Ah, nah, no, the old Babyfurs are the fucking best. Those are the OGs. Those are the ones who fucking have been like doing their thing like before it was even close to the like level of like general acceptability that it is now. It's like Babyfurs are still pretty like misunderstood and like very much like, not really treated that well by the greater public at this point in time. But like the older furs who are like, in their like, approaching in and around like their early 40s or later, like, like those are the ones who have the most of my respect, because those are the ones who pave the way for people like me to come and like fuck everything up, decades down the line. Like I have infinite respect for like gray muzzle baby furs.
I mean, wouldn't be here without them to a degree.
Totally, totally.
I mean, I do remember just like getting into the community early on. Well, I shouldn't say early on. In my early years in the community and meeting a lot of older baby furs, and then being like the one meme where it's like the soldier standing over the bed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, I will protect you from all the bad things because there's so many bad things. Um, and that's actually been part of why we want to do the essay, because we've had some frustrations with the community. And it's like, okay, we can do part of the essay to like explain what the fuck baby furs are and actually how fucking cool we all are. And then go into like, okay, if now you learned about the community, you can stay if you want, but the rest is for baby furs.
Hell yeah.
It's
I'm really stoked that you're like doing that. That's quite the ambitious undertaking, and I feel like nobody's really approached that level of like, putting their pedal to the metal on that kind of project. So I think it's really cool that you're doing that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like everything that's been here beforehand has basically just been fucking shit. I got so angry and it was like, wait, my anger distracted me from my point. Sorry, I like shiny keys distract me.
Oh, it's all good. I get it. I understand for sure.
What were we talking about?
Diapers or something?
Diapers. I mean, I'm pretty sure we weren't, but diapers are great. I do like diapers.
No, yeah, I don't know. Something related to diapers and people wearing diapers. I don't know. Old people wearing diapers, young people wearing diapers.
Oh yeah, people who like gatekeep the community or something.
Right, yeah. I mean, there will always be in older generations will always gatekeep younger generations, because it's the shock of being exposed to, elements of like being exposed to things that they're not used to, but in the context of a community that they've been a part of for a long time, is like that kind of thing is always like inherently difficult for people to adjust to. And anybody who's like that, I don't really blame them, but at the same time, I don't really think that there's a need for gatekeeping in 2020 in any area. It's like everybody should. Well, I can't say everybody should do something, because like if you say everybody should do anything, you're probably going to set yourself up for disappointment in the future. But I feel like gatekeeping is like, I don't know, it's more of a meme than anything at this point. It's like there's so many different types of people now, and there's so many people on the earth that it's like everybody's just going to do, like to an extent, whatever they want to do, and it seems really useless to sort of like try and stop them all from doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, gatekeeping is bad, but I do think that there is value in cultivating different spaces for different folks at different comfort levels. I mean, we've seen that very recently in the community, with people like you know, saying out like what they want in their art or what commissions certain people are willing to do.
Sure.
I hear the chat talking about middle space, and it's just like there's so many middle space furs, kit furs, and stuff like that. They totally get like I guess kind of like sideswiped in the community. Like I've seen some people talking about it on Twitter and being like, you know, I'm so upset that like I'll say a thing and then someone will automatically turn it into some way to tease me because I'm a baby and I'm not big enough to do that thing. And it's like, I don't know, an overwhelming amount of no, you baby. And it's like, no, but I'm like 12. No, you baby. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm 12.
I think that like middles are particularly misunderstood, or side like pushed aside at this point in time in the community solely because, one, they've never been as prominent as they are now, and two, because I think that sort of subconsciously a lot of people have this perception of the closer you get in your like little or middle age to like being an age of like it's like if you're a middle and you're like, your middle age is like 13 or 14 or something, it's like you are at that point like you're like kinning an age of person that actually exists on the internet officially. And I think that's where people get weird in their brain about it, is like, oh, like the closer I get to kinning a teenager or whatever, like the weirder it gets, because there are actually teenagers just like on the internet, like are interacting and stuff. It's like it's like with Babyfur stuff, it's like there are no babies on the internet, like there are no actual physical like infants and toddlers like using social media in like a real way, so it's a lot less sort of weird to think about.
I never thought about that aspect, especially just because I'm used to people being weird about age play in general, other
Right,
than
yeah.
like schoolgirl shit.
Yeah.
And
Of course, yeah.
and I think that that is something that I haven't really thought about before. But that it's also for some people like, oh, you're breaking the fantasy. Like, why do you want to be so old? Which I think is interesting because I mean, playing the Worlds with you lately, I was like, oh no, this put me in the like top tier middle space.
Yeah. I think that like just as many like important formative things can happen to a person when they're a toddler as they can when they're a teenager, and I think that everybody should have, everybody should feel able to acknowledge that and like, explore that in themselves if they feel like that's something that they need.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cleoform, I noticed you wanted me to notice you. Yeah. Well, here Senpai notices you a lot. Thanks for being here.
Aw.
I'm hoping you're enjoying the conversation and it's not coming at you too fast. We keep switching topics. Like this is literally like we haven't even gotten to the questions yet. We're just vibing right now. I hope
Yeah,
you
we're
don't
just
mind,
shooting the
Hushy.
shit. No, yeah, I'm having a great time. I love to chat.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, I'm getting more, I don't know, personable now. Something that us fluffs have done. I guess we don't talk about it super much, but it's like I think that what we talked about with like Dusk of like socializing the fluffs, like of like I don't know, just because you're in a system doesn't necessarily mean you share all the same experiences, and so like getting used to talking to people and having a casual conversation is actually like kind of on my list of thingies, which is also why I've been doing so many of the interviews, because I want to talk to people, because I've never talked to people I haven't talked to that many people as myself yet, other than people that my system are already very much acquainted with. So you're like new person on top of new person.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great that like y'all are giving yourselves opportunities to do that, because you're right, like socialization is really important, and I know that a lot of people, especially people who are identify as being on the autism spectrum or etc., like have experienced like a lot of like a lack of socialization like in youth, and I think it's really important to like grow up and give not only yourself but all of yourselves the chance to like interact.
For sure. Yeah, handle that thing in chat. I noticed that. Anyway, shit. Was there anything else I was gonna say? Heck. Well, we have a lot of new people here today, and I will acknowledge that, and I'll acknowledge the whole elephant in the room for anyone who, especially maybe coming off of Twitter and like, I don't know, maybe a little bit weirded out that this person was on our list for interviewing, because there are those that believe that Hushy should not have a platform at all, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that we did not have to do math meme before we ever like anything, because we saw your name in chat when we were interviewing Dak, and it was like, there's so many names. There's so many names you go by. This doesn't mean that you're here. And then you were,
it could be any Rawrdcore.
And then it was like, then you were in our server, and it was like, oh. And by the time we noticed, you already talked to some people. It's like, yeah, I would totally love to be interviewed. And I'm just like, hyperventilates.
Hell yeah! I mean, to be honest, you're the first person who's been willing to interview me since 2016.
Holy fuck! Well,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not surprised.
You're making history in the Rawrdcore legacy right now. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I mean,
or I guess I've been on like a podcast before, but I haven't specifically been interviewed that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not everyone here probably knows exactly all the things, but in brief, because it'll come up later, we're doing a whole interview. There was a call out for Hushy a while ago, actually, and I think I can say that it's definitely left you kind of burned in the community. There are, like Twitter threads about, how terrible a person you are, and things of that nature. For abuse, amongst other things. I'll let you speak on it more later, but I just wanted to, I guess, say that, especially in reference to the person who got themselves banned just a few minutes ago for a death threat. Just a general one, not a specific one, just a general one.
It's just a general death threat to anybody out there who will receive it,
Yeah. It's been a big deal for me to be at once a active Babyfur, a trans individual, a content creator, and existing on Twitter while being like a leftist and someone who's like, I am a feminist. I am all the good leftist things, apparently. But when we first decided we were gonna do this, we were filled with so much shame. It was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about being a Babyfur, but I'm gonna be like totally a doomer about it, and we're gonna cover our face and wear all black and garble our voice, and it was gonna be the fucking edgiest shit.
OMG, that actually sounds kind of cool. I mean, like, obviously, I'm glad that like the route that you ended up. I'm glad that things are less morose, now. But at the same time, it's like I would pay attention to a Babyfur who was being super emo about it, like in that sort of way, like.
Maybe we'll do like a skit or something down the line, but
that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of self-hate in a lot of these communities that drive you further and further down a pipeline that lead you to very bad things.
Totally.
We're making a video about it after the Babyfur video. Actually, full disclosure, we were gonna approach Hushy for the video after this one, because it was gonna get into pro-ship and some other really divisive things that is really hard to talk about on Twitter because of the form that it takes and all the rampant harassment and stuff that happens.
Yeah.
But I'm fine talking about it now. What was it? The world happens. What was it? The world happens while you're making other plans.
That's
Uh,
true.
but I will say at the very least that I don't think people should be punished for fiction. Though I won't say that fiction has no effect on how people think. We're gonna unpack that at a later date. But honestly, I think that there's been a lot of harassment of especially trans individuals, especially trans feminine individuals, to the point of deplatforming, to the point of being, especially considering that some of them or all of them rely on their art to survive, to homelessness or worse. I've known several. We were homeless for a while for reasons related to abuse that we did to others that we lived with and were in a relationship with. We have been very frank about that because we knew that at some point it could come out and we could get canceled, and we didn't want to get popular and then get canceled. So we also made our platform and part of our like brand about trying to be a better person because we were confronted about being an abuser and weren't called an abuser, but we put two and two together. We were like, oh
Right.
shit, if this and that and they're acting like this, then obviously I'm an abuser or I've been doing abuse. And the fucked up thing is people like us, even before content creation, that were telling us, no, none of that sounds like abuse. Y'all were just X, Y, and Z. And there's a lot of different ways to like compartmentalize and like convince yourself that you didn't do abusive things, but we totally did, and we take responsibility for that. And at the same time, when we were homeless, because we lived with those people and we were we were financially dependent on those people, because disabled,
Right.
we resigned ourselves to die because we were like, we're an abuser, we deserve it, we'll just make everyone's lives harder by existing.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely like encountered a lot of people in that kind of situation, and I've definitely felt things like that myself. Even despite the fact that a lot of the stuff that I got called out for ended up being completely fabricated or sort of just generated by like a long string of like telephone, like from person to person, adding little details and stuff here and there that, you know, to make it sound juicier or whatever. Like, but I definitely know the feeling of like, you know, if you hear people say something to you enough times, it's like even if it's the least true thing in the world, it's like you're gonna start to believe it if you hear it enough. And to being able to take responsibility for things that you do know that you did do is of course extremely important. And like, you know, knowing like all what life is really all about, all of it, like what adulthood is all about, is like learning which things that you do, you know, help people and hurt people, and like figuring out like, do I want to be like a person who continues to like put hurtful energy into the world, or do I want to be a person who, you know, does my best to put as much positive energy and love like into the world as possible, like, and you know, that extends to all kinds of things, you know, knowing which words people do and don't prefer to hear, you know, like consent, of course, and like boundaries, and like, you know, nonviolent communication, and like, you know, stuff like it's there's a lot of elements to that kind of stuff, a lot of facets.
Yeah, and there's a lot you have to learn, and a lot of people try to boil down consent, especially to just, you know, it's simple. It's simple. And I think something that
Nah.
really sucks about like I guess being on the internet, or like, I don't know, the streamline of information and like the validation and like fear of reprisal of like, okay, if I don't agree that this thing is awful, then like, will I be shunned?
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
lot of that.
and you can't, and it's really hard to examine certain things. And so it's just like, nope, you know, nope, it's nope. Yeah, just you should have known. And I don't think that, and that's not a dig at anyone who has suffered abuse, because I will say that we have dealt abuse and suffered abuse throughout our lives, and I guess we try to have a message of it being okay to try to get better from that, and you're not a bad person. We definitely are no self-help anything, but we are trying to become better and trying to be not a toxic person to live with / be around / love. But you
Yeah, and
can't
that's the
give
best that you
yourself that
can do.
chance. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you can't give yourself that chance if you believe that you are at your core a bad person. And people say
Right.
that about being queer, being babyfur, being a furry, being neurodivergent, being autistic. Like there's so many
Right.
things. And that's why we're in that doomer state of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make content, but like I'm gonna be like the worst about it and tell people they should like hate themselves. And it's like I'm really glad that I did not do that. I'm really glad that we did not do that.
For sure.
And I think that there are other people that there are literally other people that we plan to cover or talk about or talk with in the future that have been called out in numerous ways. We're not trying to make a career out of it or anything, but it is important to talk about because in our personal journey and trying to process that, especially coming from a place where just because of that domino meme where it's like there's no way that this should lead to this. The first domino
Right.
was becoming homeless after abusing our partners. And the biggest domino was becoming a full-time VTuber. And it's really fucking weird. And we're not proud of that, but it's like we owe it to like, I don't know, our influence to like be upfront about that, talk about that, and not like hide about it, because I think that visibility about that is the best you can do, because then someone can choose, okay, I'm not cool with that, I will step away. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do with a lot of stuff that upsets them, including Babyfur shit. If you are not okay with Babyfur shit, it's not my job to make you okay with Babyfur shit. However, it's also your job not to harass Babyfurs for existing.
No, yeah, it's your job to curate your own social media experience. It's your job to know, when to blacklist certain words, when to block, when to mute, when to unfollow. Like there's literally all these websites are like, they all have features built into them that allow you to avoid the shit that you don't want to see. And it's like it's completely up to the user, whether or not they're using those tools or how thoroughly they're using them. And I think and what you said about like, it's absolutely vital to acknowledge where you've been and like the, decisions you've made and how those have affected other people. Because if you try to bury those things and you try to run away from them, then it's like you truly don't, you don't have an opportunity to improve, because you have to sit with those things, you have to look at them, you have to think about, like how have I touched the lives of others, like how do I want to touch the lives of people going forward, and like how do I have to change my outlook, how do I have to change the way that I communicate, how do I have to change my behavior in order to achieve that.
Yeah, of course. I want to acknowledge in chat, Zin Pfeiffer said, it's your job not to make your discomfort into other people's problems. I want to address that because I think that some people can get the wrong idea by statements like that. And I think that's the perfect example of the thing that, for one, I've been conditioned to do, because I've been like a leftist pretty much for as long as I've been trans. I've been a leftist pretty long, and that just means that I have been aware of like how language changes and like I guess like the local internet communities of things in which things are or are not acceptable. And it's like social cues and what's that word? Scripts. There's certain scripts, and someone could even call that a dog whistle, actually. Because it's like the people who hate like trigger warnings and stuff like that. And I always had the lack of dissemination between those two things, because as it relates to like the hurt that we did, a lot of it was like emotional manipulation through like our problems and our not being able to deal with life. We made our discomfort and we made our pain like someone else's problem because we wouldn't deal with it enough. And I mean, zeroing in on me, I wanted to just do, because that way I'm not throwing shade at anyone. And there are ways that statement is like very important, but I think that it's also about like being a respectful person is also important. like the fact that even though I'm like, oh yeah, Babs should be able to like wear Bab stuff in public, I'm also not saying that I should be able to, or I should expect no pushback if I decide to go skateboarding in just my onesie, for example.
Right, yeah. There's a lot, like, at the end goal is like, in an ideal world, everybody's doing exactly what they want to do without hurting anybody else. But like in the world that we live in is built on everybody hurting everybody else. So it's like we're all trying to find this sort of middle ground where we can exist without, like making things harder for ourselves and others, and it'll always be really delicate. It'll always be a really delicate thing.
For sure.
Do we want to get rolling on these questions, because there's quite a few of them, and I remember you said earlier we don't want to do like a whole 3-hour stream.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I appreciate you like speaking to your own experience, though. I do appreciate you opening up about some of that stuff, because like I definitely will be doing similar stuff throughout this interview.
I really appreciate that. And thanks for getting us back on track, because I have very heavy ADHD, and I do love getting caught up in conversations.
No worries, I feel you.
Okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, wait a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna go pee super fast, and then I'll be super ready.
You don't pee your pants? Cringe.
I'm out of pull-ups. I'm out of good nights. Sorry.
Oh, you're a big kid. You wear pull-ups. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm getting there. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Make sure you pee before the interview, everybody. Gotta make sure you pee before the interview. That is funny as hell to me. I say that while I was filling my pants literally like 5 minutes ago or less. Ugh. Well, at least I said that about myself before I saw Pissy say it. Yeah, I peed before the interview as well. I will probably have to change after the interview, but before the Whirlwinds with you, I'll probably have to change.
Hi, I'm back. My bladder's empty. I'm ready to roll.
All right, cool. Sorry, I was just updating everyone on the state of my pants since you went to the bathroom.
Hell yeah, they needed to hear that.
Anyway, let's get started. What is your little age?
I slide around a lot. I actually, like, very rapidly, like, throughout the course of the day. I slide between, sometimes I'm 4, sometimes I'm 9, sometimes I'm 16, sometimes I'm 26.
Oh, okay.
I'm all over the place, but lately, in the past few years, I was more toddler centric in my expression, but lately I'm entering more of like a middle territory on a more regular basis, I'd say.
Okay. Sorry, brain spacey. Did I ask you what your not little age is too?
My not little age?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not like I'm not younger than 4, and I'm not older than, well.
Sorry, let me rephrase. What is your body's age?
Oh, my body. Oh, I'm 26 years old.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll be 27 in September.
Oh, you're 26 and a half years old. All right.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I guess technically I am a musician for a living, a producer of electronic music. I've been doing it since 2014, and I have been doing it full time since 2000 and I guess late 2016, early 2017.
Okay. Why do you say technically?
I guess like. No, I guess there's no technically about it. I think at this point I am legally self-employed, so like Yeah.
Ooh, woo, self-employed club.
Yeah.
Not very glamorous.
No, it's really, really difficult and scary. But it's definitely a lot better than a 9 to 5, so I'm not complaining.
So that's fair. I just hydrated, so yes. Wow, you really want me to leak? Got it. Zen Pfeiffer. Ada ada. Okay, next question. What are your hobbies?
When I'm not making music, I like hanging out with my friends. I like to draw and I like to write. I have kind of like I'm always keeping like a sort of like sketchbook / diary / scrapbook kind of thing. I'm always carrying it around and like going to parties and like handing it to people and being like, draw on my book, and like so I have all these sort of like volumes of books of just like little doodles and stuff of like me and my friends just like messing around, and like so I really enjoy doing that. And I used to draw a webcomic. I'm planning on putting a lot of like concentrated effort into like continuing that webcomic, but it's gonna be a little different than it was the first time around, and it's gonna be a more ambitious sort of undertaking. But I guess that will eventually maybe be less of a hobby and be more tied to like my music, like because like I have a lot of characters that kind of represent like different parts of my system and stuff, and they all make different genres of music, and like they interact with each other in my comics and stuff. So
Okay, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Let's see. What is your gender?
That's a really good question. I was assigned male at birth, and then I was a girl. I'm still a girl, mostly, but I'm also everything else at the same time, on top of being a girl. So I'm kind of like, I guess, like, pan-gender in a way, but, like, with, like, a heavy dose of, like, girl.
Okay. Pangender, heavy dose of girl. Got it.
Yeah.
Are you in any other ways in the LGBT plus community?
I guess, like, I don't know, I'm definitely, like, gay. I'm definitely, like, I don't know, mostly interested in, like, other queer people. I guess I don't know if by legal definition, like, yes, I'm a part of the LGBT community, but the times, the strength of, like, to the degree to which I perceive it as being a quote unquote community, like, varies greatly, because, like, I think that, like, queer people are, like, very liable to destroy each other just as much as they are to support each other, if not more or less at varying times. So it's like, community is a word that, like, I've always felt weird about when talking about, like, the fact that I'm, like, gay, I guess.
I wish I could feel differently. I wish I could be like, well, you know, like, we're all unified under the umbrella, and when we go to Pride, we hold hands and we give each other food. And I'm like, I was at Pride once, and a gay couple fed me. And I don't mean it in the way of like, oh yeah, they gave me some money or they bought me a hot dog. No, they wouldn't let me eat the food that they had unless they could put it in my mouth.
Oh my god.
I was not there as a kinkster. Well, at least not openly. No. Here you go, just eat this food. We like to watch people being fed, I guess.
And you're like, oh my fucking god, I'm so hungry, please, just, like...
Yes, exactly. Like, I do definitely have strong negative associations with a lot of cishet folks. But holy shit, will you let your guard down around queer community, especially when you're younger in the queer community, and you're just like, they'll have my back, they'll really understand me, and especially as a fucking POC queer person, oh my shit. Like, I'm always having the thing of like, oh, do I choose? And especially as a furry, it's like, oh wow, someone's being racist. Do I tell them that I'm black, or do I just leave it?
Right, yeah, and then suddenly they're standing over you, and they're like, "Eat from my hand or die.
Exactly.
Eat from my hand or starve." Like, fuck that.
Yeah. Salagna Baloney, I wanted to recognize your really top tier joke because I literally had to not bust out laughing. I had to cover my fucking mouth. Short order cook type gender. So that's like a SpongeBob gender? It's like the meme with the weird looking creatures hand feeding each other. Oh, you saved my life. Oh, thank you. You saved my life. I think it was like chili cheese fries. I can't remember. Okay. Shit. I laughed so hard my throat hurts. Okay. I am a professional streamer. We are professionals. Shit. Wait, no, I need to park this. Can you tell me some more about how you've come to not feel very unified in the LGBT community? Because I really can't continue without having that curiosity itch scratched.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, they tried to kill me. They tried to ruin my entire life and career. They doxed me. Okay, so here's here's a list of shit that has happened to me, like, since I got called out in June 2018. I had my address doxed. I had my nudes leaked on Kiwi Farms and Lolcow Farm. I have my own dedicated thread on both of those websites that are purely dedicated to, like, stalking and harassing me. Luckily, those threads have not been active in a long time, but there was a time when they were. I have been punched in the stomach by a disgruntled ex-fan. I have been threatened with, like, threats of, like, group violence should I show my face at, like, certain conventions and events. Like, I've been called a pedophile by hundreds of strangers hundreds of times a day, like, for, like, multiple years, which has also died down quite a bit, thankfully. But, like, I don't feel unified in the LGBT community because they literally tried to fucking, like, kill me. They tried to take my entire, like, primary, like, source of income, and, like, they tried to deplatform me and tried to, like, exile me from a community for doing literally nothing. Like, some of the fucking shit that, like, people have said that I've done is so outrageously buck wild that, like, I have just sort of come to terms with the fact that, like, my life is, like, an extremely demented, like, story to a lot of people. Like, and it's an extremely demented story to me, but it's not the same story. Like, so that's why I don't feel very unified with the LGBT community.
Yeah, I thought so. I can only imagine how that changed your whole perception of, like, trust.
Oh, for sure. My entire perception of like, you know, it truly was, like, I came out, I got prescribed, I was out as trans, like, I came out as trans in the middle of a semester of community college, and like, I wasn't on hormones yet. I didn't get hormones until I'd already been out for, like, 3 months and, like, presenting full time. I did not pass at all. Like, I truly, the internet was, like, sorry, I gotta catch up with myself.
No problem.
I was going to college in South Portland, Maine, and, like, I was one of, like, 2 maybe 3 trans people on campus. And like I couldn't relate to like the other trans people at all, just because they were just very, very different people with very, very different interests that I had no common ground with, really, besides the fact that we were trans. So we like did not hang out or really talk to each other. And like, so the internet was really the one place where I could find other trans girls who were anything like me, or that enjoyed like the energy that I was putting out into the world or whatever. And like, as I continued to, like, as I got HRT and got prescribed Adderall like around the same time, I started like really going super hard on like having a web presence and like being this character that like, you know, is this like, you know, this dog girl who's like a like raver, like doesn't give a fuck, and like, you know, just believes in herself and like thinks that, you know, with enough like dedication, like anybody's capable of anything. And like was just like answering like questions, like interacting with fans just like all day, all the time. And like I distributed thousands of like copies of like pirated music software to like these kids that were like, it got to a point where my music gained so much momentum that these kids were in my inbox every single day asking me like, how do I get started with making music? Like, how do I do what you do? And so I put together this starter kit where I just I put in like some cracked software of like I don't want to say specifically what the software is for legal reasons, but
Good job.
just a bunch of like resources, just every single thing that a person could possibly need to get started with making music. And then I made tutorial videos all by myself on how to use those tools specifically. And I distributed that starter pack to thousands of queer children that like literally anybody who asked for it, I would give it to them. And like, so I gained this reputation as being like this really like supportive, encouraging, open source sort of like musician who was just really eager to share what I was doing with the world, and like encouraged like, you know, kids like me to do what they want to do. Because like, you know, I was in this situation in real life where like nobody was like me, and like I was looked at very strangely and treated very strangely, and not very nicely, but I didn't care because I had the internet and I had my web presence, and I had people who believed in me. And so I kept pushing and like doing my thing until eventually like I was able to support myself, and like just by doing it. And then like it carried me all the way 3,500 miles to the other side of the country to like finally like exist around other like trans people and like ravers, and like and then like I broke up with my partner, and like as revenge, like they went ahead and like told people like the details of like my like relationship with like ABDL stuff. And then like from there, like these people that they were informing were minors, and then from there those minors decided that I did not deserve to continue living, and did everything that they possibly could to bring me down. And then adults were getting in on it, and like all the information started to get so distorted, and like it all spiraled out of control so hard, and made my life very difficult for a very long time. I don't remember what the original question was.
The original question was, are you queer or in the LGBT community? Now that's clip worthy. If anyone has a clip, if anyone feels like clipping, I'd love that. Thank you everybody who's followed so far. There's been a lot of follows. I haven't been able to keep track. I can barely keep track of chat, which is not normal for me. Thank you everybody who's here and everyone who's followed. Really appreciate your support. Welcome to the Fluffy Fold. Your life will be filled with happiness and sadness, but
It sure will.
we're on the ride together. All right,
Yeah.
stretch time. I don't know if you want to stretch with me, but they did a thingy, so I have to stretch now.
All right, I can do a little stretch.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Good stretchy. I don't know if you're that familiar with Twitch, but people who watch accumulate points and they can spend them to get the streamers to do stuff.
Oh, really? Oh my god, that's so crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I don't like that. Thanks for highlighting it, so it's very easy to ban you though. Thank you.
That person in the chat. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Have to repeat. People forget we're black. We're very, very black. We don't like jokes like that. Don't call me an Oreo. What else? Not really fond of the way jokes. The things that you'd be careful with. Just because I don't bite your head off or threaten you with violence like you expect a black person to, doesn't mean that I'm okay with certain types of jokes. And I don't necessarily go super hard on enforcing certain things in chat, but we got a lot of new people, and you gotta know like what's okay and what's not okay here. Black people are real. I'm right fucking here.
Last I checked.
Let's see. Let's look at chat a little bit. I don't want them to feel ignored. I feel that I was asked to post art that I draw for someone that was ABDL in a safe Discord, and then the people turned on me like raptors. Made me stop drawing altogether for about a year.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, being openly bab in like non-bab spaces can be very terrible. I'm part of a bunch of Discord servers, and I'm just like, oh, art Masona, I'm good. You can see a headshot. That's about it. Unless I already know that I can trust the server to be cool about it. But at that point, there's probably a bad server to begin with. Let's see. Such a wonderful response that really highlights the struggle queer folks like ourselves feel even in our own community. Oh yeah. I mean, it's also part of like the system that we're in. It's not a barrel of crabs on accident. In our experience, in the black community, it's the same fucking thing. I mean, people talk about like, oh, black on black crime. They hurt each other so much. Look at how XYZ they are. And it's like, well, if you're trapped in a space, if you got put in the Hunger Games, don't yell at me for killing other contestants of the Hunger Games.
Seriously, yeah.
Like, can't really do much in a really hostile environment. Not to mention all the things that befell the black community and inner city and all that. Don't want to get too much into that, but just yeah, it's not new.
It's your show. It's your show. It's okay. It's all good.
Thank you. Oh, this is an interesting thing. I don't think we've mentioned it. We can get angry now. I know how some people like maybe get on hormones and go, oh, I can cry, and that happened to us too. But I got on anxiety medications, and I can get mad now. I don't suppress it all. I don't suppress it as much anymore because of the anxiety of if I raise my voice, they'll get mad at me, which is also something I learned as a black film of like, oh, you raised your voice, I'm scared of you now.
Right, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
But also as someone who's been abused and know a lot of people who have been abused as well. Also, raising your voice isn't always super great, so I try not to do it anyway because I don't want to trigger someone's trauma response. Because I don't like being yelled at. Who likes being yelled at? I don't know anyone who likes being yelled at.
I'm sure there's at least one sick fuck out there who loves being yelled at.
I mean, in a kink way, I'm sure. Like in a kink way, I mean, I could see someone stabbing me, but like, I don't know. I think it's much easier now to call it out, but a lot of people I know growing up were like, verbal abuse, that's not real, sounds fake, stuff like that. Fluffbite, do you have a tag that you are black? Oh gosh, now you're gonna get me going. Okay, so literally there's so many tags, but you can only choose 5. And during Pride Month, Twitch rolled out 1,000,000 fucking tags. So I can't. So I have to choose between being black, furry, VTuber, autistic, borderline personality, dissociative identity. Did I say furry already? What was it? Autistic, ADHD, dyslexic. There's literally like a ton, and like we try to rotate some of them. But the VTuber tag and the furry tag are pretty popular tags that a lot of people are finding us through. So we try to shuffle up, especially depending on what we're gonna talk about. Because sometimes we turn on the depression tag, for example. Yeah. Silky Dream, or Silky Dream. Thank you for following. Welcome to the Fluffy Fold. Your life will be filled with happiness and sadness, but at least we're along for the ride together. It sucks because like I'm pro ship and ABDL, and I've been treated like a freak when bringing up my stance with friends because I for some reason think I'll change their mind if they were really my friend, but they always call me horrible things. I mean, I totally understand that. I mean, we actually purposely don't use like ship language to describe our thingies, because once you do that, it kind of raises the door of, oh, okay, since you've already made this stance, then this is the discussion you need to have, which is the same thing we had to do with like pluralness. Like I have an overarching thing of, you know, the whole like fiction thing or whatever and stuff I'm gonna unpack, but like I think don't harass people and cultivate your own space is enough to a degree if something makes you uncomfortable. There's a YouTuber with a great video about pro ship and stuff, and she is also black. I will link a little bit later when I have the brain space, but like this is an ongoing discussion, and part of why we are an open leftist ABDL is because of other babs being treated like shit in leftist spaces, and oftentimes people who are CSA survivors will have issues with us, and I think that's a conversation that can be had without like hurting people or shutting them completely from communities.
Sure, yeah. I think that any conversation, I think it's foolish to enter any sort of conversation or sort of conversational space with the intention to like, or I guess not the intention, with the expectation to hurt nobody. I think that people will always be hurt, no matter how hard you're trying to not hurt people. But on the flip side of that, I think that that's just something that, like, you know, if you can get a group of people to unanimously understand that, it makes it easier to communicate when those situations happen, so that we can understand like where the other people are coming from, and like come to understand that it's nobody's intention to hurt anybody else. It's always, you know, people just have different outlooks, different opinions about stuff. Like, I think that if you try to go through life without hurting anybody, you're gonna definitely suffer a lot. I think it's really important to recognize that like being hurt by others and hurting others is inevitable, and it's not impossible to navigate those kind of things. It's not impossible to meet those things head on with the other person and like navigate them together. It's just both people need to be like willing to do that, and they need to, like, you know, focus on developing communication skills in order to enable that to take place without, like, you know, lasting damage to anybody.
For sure. I want to acknowledge this in chat. Michuya, what does ABDL stand for? I've never heard of it, but I love to familiarize myself. So I'm sure if there's one person in chat who doesn't understand, then there are probably plenty. So ABDL stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lovers. Technically Adult Baby / Diaper Lovers. Although technically speaking, it's kind of a limiting term, because earlier in stream we were talking about middles, people who would who age play or regress to ages that are not baby and not toddler, kid or teenager, and they aren't really represented in that term. Although some people would say, oh, then they're just diaper lovers. And it's like, no, there's still the age play component. Don't erase that. But I digress. It's a community. ABDL is a community of people who are under an umbrella of liking diapers, infantilizing behavior, and playing as a younger age than they actually are, or practicing the I guess the mental state of age regression, which is a technique that gives you I just feel like I'm talking about an anime. It's a technique that allows you to achieve
it's ancient technique handed down from
baby to baby.
Muzzles.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I differentiate with age regression because a lot of people in the community do experience age regression. And there are a lot of people who are not in the ABDL/Babyfur community that also age regress. It is actually associated with a number of mental illnesses, including schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, and a bunch of other things. So age regression is not exclusive to the ABDL community. But as you can see behind me, well, actually, our art is actually pretty tame right now. Our art in the background is actually pretty tame right now. There's no visible diapers anywhere to be found, except on my table. But a lot of people in the ABDL community tend to like wear pacifiers, diapers, crawl around, piss themselves, sometimes poop themselves. Sometimes also piss, poop, and cum themselves.
There's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, some people like it. It is a kink, but it is also a community, just like how furry fandom is a fandom and like its own community. But there is a huge sexual and kink aspect to it. Though I will say that ABDL should be practiced with consenting adults, and that is the way you play the kink game. It is something that a lot of people come into exploring in a context in which they feel like they have to hide it, which is part of the reason that I am so open about being a bab and trying to do a lot of other normal people things at the same time to show people that it's not just this. Also, I'm showing babs that too. I don't know if you have an opinion on this, Hushy, but I know there's a lot of people frustrated with being artists in the community and only being able to focus on age regression or diapers or soiling yourself and like just being like very hunkered down and just a couple of things and never branching out or talking about anything else.
Well, that's the thing, is like it's the stigma. It's either you specialize or you know have your diaper related side hustle found out, and then your primary career gets fucked up because of it. Like I think that people tend to fall into those traps because that binary exists, that barrier exists. But I think that barrier is growing thinner every single day, and I think it's going to continue growing thinner and thinner. And I think that being ABDL or associating with ABDL or participating in ABDL, etc., is gradually becoming a more and more not just like accepted thing, but like actively profitable thing. I think as more people going forward, as more people are born without rudimentary comforts and like people yearn more for like, you know, the simple joys of feeling small and cared for and secure. Like and like, you know, nostalgia only becomes more and more marketable as time moves forward. It's like things that are universally recognized as nostalgic, you know, things like diapers, bottles, pacifiers, playpens, crayons, etc. Like these things will only move further and further to the front of the human consciousness, especially like in the Western world. And I think that corporations know about this. I've got a whole conspiracy theory about hyper-capitalist diaper future, but
we can talk about that after.
Yeah, we can get into that later.
Okay, before we continue on, I do want to literally mention this. Funeral Feline, you asked what's our opinion of Dak's back. Did you know we actually interviewed Dak back for the video essay that we're writing that Hushy's also going to be featured in.
Yeah, Dax fucking rules. I love Dax.
And as far as I know, that's how you discovered us, right? You didn't know we existed before that.
Exactly. Yeah, I tuned in for the Dax interview because I saw Dax on my TL, and I was like, oh my god, like I've been waiting for like somebody to corner this market, you know, like I've been waiting for the first diaper pop like artist. Like I can't believe that this is finally happening, because like I like when I first got called out, I like considered, you know, leaning into it hard enough to, you know, make that be like what I was gonna, you know, sort of embody, but then I didn't quite do that, and honestly, like it's not really the niche that I'm looking to fill anymore. I think I want to play with it. I think I want to play, like, especially I want to collab with Dax and do like stuff sort of similar to what they're doing, like with them. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I'm really glad that like they're doing what they're doing. And I loved the interview, and watching the interview made me want to have an interview with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that I could oblige. I'm not Drizzle, but I do my best. Not real grim CS:GO. I don't understand your question. Why do gay men have this kind of those? Maybe that's a typo. I say it's a common stereotype, which I guess is mostly true. I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't even like begin to ascertain what that means. Correct yourself if you can, or not. Let's see. Oh, I did want to mention. Yeah, I mean, you and Dak actually really did inspire us to get started on our own thing, because even though we don't focus on music, although we want to do some music at some point, like being a Babyfur that Etzes, I think, is kind of like a big deal for us, because so many people like literally are just in the BAP community and just draw.
Yeah.
And if they stream what they draw.
Right, yeah. I really am looking forward to seeing more people in the community branch out into different mediums and doing different things, and that's why I think that like this is so cool, like what you're doing. Like I think that like the mediums that you're exploring, like in the context of ABDL, is super cool, and I'm really looking forward to definitely in music as well, like seeing more people embrace that sort of thing. Like I so hope that like a community of like musicians that are sort of like Dax sort of build themselves around Dax. Because like I want to fucking be bumping diaper pop all the time. Like that shit is so cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. Being the first, or as far as I know, the only Babyfur video essayist, definitely we wear as a badge of pride, and we hope to inspire others. And I know we have, although at the same time, it's also just like being a disabled person doing this has been a big deal to other people that we know as well.
Yeah,
people
hell
who
yeah.
can't focus. I mean, I've mentioned my autism and my ADHD at least once or twice this stream, and like focusing is so damn hard.
For sure, yeah. Like we haven't done a question in ages.
Okay. How have you adjusted to life since COVID? Oh god, we're so early in the fucking thing.
Yeah, we have so many questions. COVID has been a fucking trip. I got like, so COVID happened, and then protests started. So I had a good amount of time to go completely insane in quarantine, and then protests started, and then I was out in the streets being insane with all of the other people who were freshly out of their, like, you know, COVID enclosures, like also like just like completely raring to, like, you know, fuck shit up, like, and, you know, stand their ground and like get fucking mad at some cops, like, and like I, you know, had that whole experience there, tasted tear gas, saw, you know,
Whoa.
was a little too close to a couple gunshots, saw a lot of like fighting break out, like not just between, like, you know, protesters and cops, but protesters and protesters, like a lot of really close calls with like vehicular sort. A lot of people are doing some really fucking reckless shit with like cars and stuff. Like it was really buck wild, and then I kind of came out of that sort of like questioning, you know, how important everything around me, like in my home life, like truly was, and whether or not I was like, you know, fulfilled in my circumstances, and like, you know, whether or not like, you know, all this other shit. And so I started like abusing dissociative drugs very consistently. I got very addicted to dissociative drugs for quite some time. Nearly a year I was using dissociative drugs like almost every day. Like ketamine, 2-FDCK, DXM, nitrous oxide, 3-MeO PCP, a lot of shit, and it really like it really fucked up my body and like my like lifestyle, and like really like being an addict is obviously like a really difficult experience, but like dissociative drugs are a class of drug that like nobody really talks about the experience of being addicted to, because they're just sort of lesser, they're just sort of lesser known. Like they're not as commonly spotlighted in media or in, you know, like popular science. And so I spent a long time getting pretty addicted to dissociatives, and then through like gradual like, you know, sort of self-guided like psychedelic therapy, and like leaving my like less than friendly like living situation and entering like a much safer living situation with people who are very, very nice to me, I was gradually able to become much less dependent on drugs. And I'm not going to say that I'm not still an addict, because I am definitely still a drug addict, but I'm very, very much less addicted to drugs than or dependent on drugs than I was, say, you know, 3 or 4 months ago. And so COVID, that's how my life has been since COVID.
Wow, that's about as the heaviest response as one could have, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you're fine. While I was filling my pants listening to you, I was trying to think of what I wanted to say. All my brains went to my diaper. Drug addicts. I am also a drug addict.
Right on.
We try to spotlight that in our content as well. We don't shy away from it. Like we are still using our drug of choice, which is pot. And we've been self-medicating it for our anxiety and part of our focus, and our focuses for sure, for a while now, and to disassociate, honestly. Because sometimes it's just like, turn it all off, please turn it all off.
Totally, yeah. I'm still smoking weed almost every day. But that's my background addiction. That's like my that's my background addiction. That's like fucking up my life, like in a more subtle way. Like as opposed to my foreground addiction, which makes me like have to stay in bed for like days, like at a time, like to recover from like binges and stuff. But I haven't had to do that in quite a while, so.
Well, I'm proud of you for that. I've dealt with stuff like that too. I was worried about a close friend recently thought they had killed themselves. They hadn't gotten in contact with me because they were recovering from a bender.
Yeah, that'll do it for sure. I'm glad they turned out okay.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we've been through things as well. We've survived, I think, 2 overdoses.
Damn.
Yeah, right. And we had a partner that stayed with us like through a lot of the like bad drug stuff. We overdid it on acid once to like a dangerous degree.
Whoa.
Bad things ensued, like the most powerful mind-wrecking trip that still affects us to this day.
Yeah, acid doesn't fuck around. It's like you can always take more, but you can't take less. And like I've definitely been bit in the ass a couple of times by shit like that too. It's scary.
Yeah, and with our like other mental health thingies, it was also like it wasn't that we didn't know what we were doing. We knew exactly what we were doing. We were self-harming.
Right. I fucking feel that for sure. Yeah.
That is really funny. Someone was mentioning like spore kits you can buy illegally online, and it actually reminded me of like this book from this author that I found your Sona in.
Oh, my Sona?
Yeah.
Oh, Remy's book?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right on. Yeah, that's I forget that exists all the time, and then when I remember it, I'm like, oh my god, that was real. Like my persona is just like in one of her comics, like.
I read it recently, and yeah, Remy's a furry artist, awesome comic artist that made some really groundbreaking like trans film graphic novels. One of which in like one of the back pages is just Hushy Sona. And I was looking at it, and I was like, as having been a fan, I was like, oh wait, that's totally her Sona. And then I was like, no, there's no way, no one will ever put her in a thing now. And then I saw the socks and it said Forling. I was like, oh, nah.
Yeah, that's from back in 2016. That was long before the controversy.
That's fair. I only got them like this year though.
Yeah, I haven't really been close with Remy in a long time, but Remy is definitely like one of a person that will always have like my respect and admiration for sure.
Awesome. Okay, continuing. Where are you from?
I'm from Maine. I'm from Kennebec County, Maine. I'm from a little town called Farmingdale with a population of 2,000 people.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's mostly just trees and white people out there. Not really much else at all. It's really pretty. There's a lot of like very beautiful sort of untouched forests that I mostly grew up surrounded by. I never like I discovered like rave music like on the internet when I was like 13, and like I discovered furry at the exact same time. Like the two have never ever been apart in my mind. Like they've always been associated with each other, and so like even after I got really into it and started making rave music for like a living and stuff, I was anywhere near other furries IRL or like real life ravers like IRL like until I'd already been doing it like for a living for several years.
That's wild.
Yeah. It was really wild. And now I'm surrounded by ravers and furries all the time, and it's awesome.
Wow, I'm really happy you were able to do that. I remember you mentioned earlier that you were able to get across the country and be in a environment you felt more comfortable in.
Yeah, totally. I'm extremely lucky. Like the only reason that I live out here is because in 2017 a fan offered to fly me out to Seattle to play a show. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, like I've never traveled that far in my entire life. Like, yeah, let's do it. And so I flew out there, and I showed up to this venue that was like this little like arcade / like ice cream shop called Full Tilt. And like the venue was only big enough to hold like 45 people, but 100 kids showed up, 100 people showed up. Like it was more queer people than I had ever seen in one place in my entire life, and I was completely overwhelmed. Like
Wow.
just like spilling out onto the sidewalk, like and I was so blown away and had such a good time, and like went to my first like house parties with like ravers and stuff, and everybody was like introducing me to all these people and stuff, and I was like just totally like whirlwind, like blown away that like it was really happening. And like I was like dissociating the whole time because I couldn't believe that it was real life. And then I get a text from my partner in Maine, who I had been living with for a while at that point, and they were like, hey, like our house has been rendered completely unlivable by an ice storm, and like we are like functionally like homeless at this point in time. Also, it's the middle of winter in Maine. It's like -3 degrees. There's snow everywhere. Like our pipes like froze and burst, so we had no plumbing. We had no electricity. We were out of heating oil, and like our house literally was like not like we could not live in it without freezing to death. So I took that basically as like a sign from a higher power that like I should just abandon my entire life and move to Seattle. Um, and so that's what I did, and it was the best choice that I ever made.
Wow. I'm glad that worked out for you. That sounds like something out of a movie.
My fucking life feels like a movie all the time. Like my life the past 3 years has been nonstop insanity. Like I that happened, and then I got here, and then like I like my career like kept like ramping up. I gained so much momentum, and then like at the height of it, like as everything was about to pop off and be like super fucking awesome, my call out shit went down, and then it all just like exploded, like was so like buck wild and super sensationalized. And like if I didn't have like a extremely amazing like IRL like support network, like I would not have done nearly as well as I have through all of this shit.
Wow. I think that is very important to remember because I know a lot of people have like really important relationships online, and we're no different. But like discrediting flesh-based friends and family and found family is like definitely a mistake, and you should still cultivate those things because they can definitely
Totally.
save your life.
Totally, yeah. No, I would be nothing without the friends that I have. Absolutely. Like I owe everything to the kindness of the people who are like in my physical vicinity, like IRL. Like there were times when like I could not pay rent. I could not fucking, afford anything because like people were going to great lengths to make sure that like I like did not receive any support like from like the my former fan base or whatever. Like I there were so many people who helped me like through all of that, and like I owe everything to them for sure. Like I would not be here right now if it weren't for furries and ravers.
that's that's a hell of a that's a hell of a place to be, but I'm glad you're here.
I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I feel it every single day, like for sure. I
uh,
can't take any of this shit for granted.
I'm glad. Are you a middle, little, big, or do you have multiple roles?
Definitely a little bit of all the above. I'm like, yeah, not a. Like I said, I'm rapidly shifting sort of throughout the day. With like people who I live with, who I'm like super comfortable with, and like, um, who like create like a good environment for me. Like I'm constantly shifting ages. I'm constantly shifting, like how I'm presenting like my voice or like my mannerisms or whatever. Like I'm just, my all of my plural dudes are all cycling all the time, and like and it's awesome. Like so I'm really all the above there.
Okay. Do you wear diapers?
Yeah, I like pull-ups. I like good nights. I like them because they're stealthy. I like them because they're convenient. I like them because I don't have to get up out of my chair in the middle of the stream and go pee. Um, I like them because they're cute. They got little butterflies. I'll wear a big diaper every once in a while. Usually only when I'm like visiting friends who like offer me a big diaper, because like they're pretty expensive, and like I'm trying to like um I got a couple mouths to feed. Like
Oh, okay. Wait. You have kids?
no, I don't have kids, but I have people who like I'm the primary like person who like generates income and like pays bills like for my household. Like
Whoa. That's
yeah,
scary.
it is, but I'm used to that because I've always been that my entire adult life. Um
Oh,
for
wait.
various
What were you
yeah,
doing
yeah.
before?
Before, I mean, like before I did music full time, I did lots of like actual like entry level labor jobs. Like I worked in I was a pizza cook, I was a dishwasher, I moved furniture for a living for a while at like an antiques auction company. I have worked on a factory floor, putting glitter on greeting cards.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
very
and
gay.
yeah, so totally. And at first it was kind of cool, and then it was a nightmare because everything I owned and every inch of my room just had glitter all over it all the time, and it would like get in my eyes and my ass crack and everything, and
Oh
I'm done with
god.
glitter. I'm sick of glitter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shitting glitter. Whoa.
I've been hustling since day one. Like I'm pretty used to it, and like the people that I currently live with, like I love more than anything. They create such an amazingly like safe and like comfortable environment for me, and they support me in ways that nobody has ever like in my life. And like for that it's so eternally grateful. And it's not that they're not trying. Like they make their own income in their own ways. It's just like I'm the one who primarily handles bills and stuff because I want to be that, and because I know that um their lives will be a lot less stressful if I play that role.
That's really amazing. Um, that totally segues into something I wanted to ask you about since Snack Teeth had mentioned it to me earlier. So Drizzle came up with this term, latchkey little. Do you remember that from the DAX stream?
Oh yeah, I do. I actually love that latchkey little. It rolls off the tongue so well.
Yeah, we're very good at naming things. I guess you really identify with that term then? I mean, considering what you just said, I feel like it would lead to it.
Like I wasn't so much like a like I guess in the current time, like yeah, I guess I can ID with latchkey little, but I was never really a latchkey kid. Um, I my family was always like way too sort of like up in my shit growing up, and I would like go out of my way to try and put as much distance as possible between like me and my family. I was always seeking like alone time. I wasn't left alone very often because everybody always had an idea of what they wanted me to do or whatever, and or they were always trying to use me as some sort of token in some sort of like psychological game that they were playing with some other relative or whatever. So I was always trying very hard to like separate myself from all of that and like seeking alone time. I was never truly a latchkey kid because I never had as much privacy as I truly wanted. Like
Wow. I never thought of the flip side of that. I know a lot of people would think that, like, oh, if you weren't a latchkey kid, then you had a perfect childhood. Like,
oh
yeah, you
fuck
got all
no.
that love and attention. You got hugs.
No, I had such a weird experience of sort of like um a lot of like my mother is like a very sweet woman, and she loves me very much, and I love her very much, but she was never really that she never had that many like adult skills. She was and she was very much like walked all over by like her older sister and her mother. Like they were constantly belittling her and like pushing her around and like um playing these like really twisted sort of like mind games with each other and holding stuff over each other's heads and like guilt tripping each other constantly. And like I think it's really just because they both had like very very intense like undiagnosed um like BPD, and like just
Oh
simply had
boy.
no tools for navigating it whatsoever. So it just sort of spiraled out of control into this sort of like giant horrible game of 4D chess that like never ended. And like so I was like they were always projecting onto me. They were always like using me as leverage against each other and whatever, and I never wanted anything to do with it. And then on the other side, like I come from a split household. Like my parents had split custody, and at my dad's house, my dad was a tank commander in Operation Desert Storm.
Whoa.
Yeah, my dad has killed people. My dad has hella killed people. Like he saw 72 hours of uninterrupted combat. He's definitely used a giant machine of war to kill people, and I'm legitimately convinced that he loved it. I
Oh.
am legitimately convinced that my father is very much like into being a murderer. Like as soon as he left the army, he became a cop.
Oh
And
boy.
yeah, he became a cop, and he would talk constantly all the time about like how his days in the army were the best days of his life, and he wished he never left the army, and like
Oh my god.
he like, you know, like a lot of people come back from war and have like fucking PTSD, like they can't like watch fireworks, they can't like, you know, hear like, you know, they like struggle. And like my dad came home from war, became a cop, and then like when I was a teenager I like rented like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and he played through the whole campaign like just like having fun with it. Like he it wasn't triggering him or anything. Like, and I legitimately think that my dad is like very into like murder.
Okay, couple of things.
Yeah.
Can we get an ACAB in chat, please? I need some ACABs in chat, because I just need to remind everyone, ACAB, 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 ACAB. I was also raised by a cop. My other parent was a lawyer. I am literally the child of law and order.
Oh, god damn. Holy shit.
And guess what it is? Anarchy, baby!
Yeah. For fuck's sake. I got so into being like an ANCOM starting when I was like 16 years old. It was like my dad is like an outrageously charismatic individual. Like he's every normie loves my dad, like but like behind closed doors he's a very like different person. And like he bring like the elements of like the cop shit that like he would bring home like for consistently just so shitty. Like,
holy shit.
Yeah, fuck being raised by cops. I'm glad that you feel me.
Oh yeah, I know. It's so funny to see the memes where it's like, it's like, but what about my family member who's a cop? And it's like, oh, like especially your bastard cop parent. And I'm like,
yeah, no, it's fucking a cop was fucking like paddling my fucking ass the whole time I was growing up. Fuck you, like.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, ACAP, including my bastard cop parent.
Yeah, fuck off.
Okay, going backwards, because there's just so much.
Oh yeah.
Chat was fucking going crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Latchkey Little. I want to acknowledge Latchkey Little, because I didn't explain it. Okay.
Yeah.
So a latchkey kid is a kid who is like responsible for themselves after a certain age where it wouldn't necessarily be normal. Perfect example, if you're like 8 years old and you get a key to your house, you're supposed to come home and let yourself in because your parents are either working or for whatever reason indisposed. Even if your parent is like home and drunk all the time, you're a latchkey kid. Having to cook for yourself, take care of yourself or your younger siblings, are all other marks of latchkey kidness. It was originated as a term during World War II in Canada, when a radio host was talking about the epidemic of there not being parents in the household because one was away at war and the other one had to work. This plague of latchkey children. These children who were being grown up stunted and, you know, I don't know, socially abandoned or some shit.
Sure, yeah.
And so, by extension, Drizzle created the term Latchkey Little. And that's why you probably never heard of it before today, because we made it up. Latchkey Little, by Fluff. You don't get to take it. You get to use it. You can only borrow it.
TM.
I actually fuck copyright capitalism. Use it to your heart's content. What was I gonna say? Oh, right. Latchkey littleness then is being a little or constantly like age regressing or being in little space that is not noted with a lack of responsibility. So let's say, I guess the most funny kind of thing would be like, oh, you're in little space while you're doing your taxes or getting a tour on a new house.
Fuck yeah. Holy shit. I definitely feel like I've experienced that kind of thing before. Like, I feel like you gotta sort of do that to fucking survive sometimes. Like, if I can't be like a little kid about like, you know, shopping for fucking respirators and fucking HIPAA filters for like when the smoke comes to like kill my fucking family or whatever, like, then how can I like, you know, I have to be able to make light of things like that, and like being able to like slip in and out of like being a kid, like while navigating the horrors of like our modern day reality. I feel like that's essential, like, for survival at this point for me personally.
Oh yeah, we definitely share that experience. I mean, for us, I think more than other creators in the community, or maybe more similar to people who like do draw a lot. Like we are like, I guess in a way, a personality, and in that, we have also as a content creator, monetized our little space.
Hell yeah.
This term came about because we were having this like discrepancy with like, okay, like I haven't got a chance to be little in a long time, and it wasn't that we hadn't had a chance to be little in a long time, because we're little pretty much every stream. It was that we never get the non-constructive, just doing whatever kind of baby time that a lot of littles crave and whatever. Like we don't like sit down and go, I'm a color.
Yeah.
Actually, recently there was like this this coloring book page that was like on being circulated on Twitter, and the person who drew it was like, hey, if you color this, enter a contest, and I'll give some people some free tickets to Babyfur Con. And we're like, oh yeah, let me do that. And then it came like the last day, we had a couple of hours, and like life was coming at us fast, and we had too many deadlines, and I was like, okay, like coloring is good, I'll do coloring, I'll do this, and it'll be two birds with one stone. And we had a mental meltdown, and it was like the worst fucking thing. And it was just like, okay, won't do that, but it was a nice try. And it's just like everything is getting wrapped up. Everything has really gotten wrapped up with our content creation and capitalism and stuff like that. And honestly, until we live in an environment where we can be openly little around the people we live with, or at the very least walk around in little clothing around the people we live with, we definitely are top tier latchkey little, because at the same time, like, oh yeah, I'm always little. When fuckers say racist shit in my chat, I block them.
Yeah.
Damn, what does this button do?
What if, can I ask, like, where, like, geographically, vaguely, like, where are you living at? Like,
oh, Midwest.
Midwest, right on.
Midwest.
Have you ever considered like the potential of like moving somewhere else?
I really painfully, substantially want to, but I don't have like the resources to. Basically, even we are a full-time content creator, but our full-time content creatorness grants us the ability to pay our rent.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it.
That's totally understandable. I literally was only able to move here because of the fact that like an ice storm like fucked up my house. Like that was the only way that I was able to like crowdfund. Like I was able to crowdfund like $3,000, and then I spent half of that paying like a tow truck to like tow my ex's car like 3,500 miles across the country, and then like I think showed up in Seattle with like $1,500 and like no plan. I was just like, okay, like whose couch can I crash on? And like luckily I was able to find like a temporary situation for us until we were able to like figure some shit out. But like it's hard to make the leap, like, and it's really scary to like go to a place with like, you know, not that many resources. There are people that I was lucky enough to even have that much. Like there are people who fucking like drop their whole lives and move to some new fucking place and they don't have shit, and it goes horribly for them. And I definitely like don't blame anybody for, you know, like feeling trapped. Like it's
oh yeah, especially right now.
Yeah, definitely, especially right now.
And we did it before when we were in college. We were on we were on grants. We didn't have to pay any tuition. Our parents couldn't afford it, and then we failed out of school. And we actually had made a promise to ourselves, if we ever had to live in our childhood home again, we would kill ourselves. So it was like, okay, if I don't want to kill myself, then I need to live anywhere but there. So we decided to move to LA, where we lived for about 4.5 years. We wanted to become a filmmaker. That didn't work out because we barely had the energy to do anything. And ironically, we worked at a movie theater for pretty much all those years. Came out as trans during that time. Came out as ace during that time. Got into a very long-term relationship that only just last year ended, which is the whole like, oh yeah, now I'm homeless type thing.
Right.
But like, what was it? Was it like 3 years ago? So a little bit before we found out that we were plural, we had moved back to our hometown from LA because we were homeless then too. It's so weird when you're like, wow, there's these statistics about people like me. Well, it hasn't happened to me. And then it's like, shit, it's happening to me. I'm a statistic.
Yeah, fuck. Well, if at any point, at any, like, in any future reality that you somehow find yourself anywhere near Seattle, like, hit me up and I will absolutely introduce you to some people that you can very much be a baby around.
Dab. Very much dab.
Yeah, there's hella community for that out here. Like I've
heard.
Yeah, I know. There's like multiple households that I know of that are just trans babyfurs. It's fucking amazing.
Wow, that sounds really fucking poggers.
Seattle's the place for that, honestly. Like it's the frontier for baby America.
Baby America. Oh gosh. Let's see. What parts of age play do you engage in?
Mostly the swaggy parts. Mostly the I don't know. I honestly, like, there've been, I've kind of like fluctuated. My relationship with ABDL is, to perhaps the surprise of no one, very strained. So it's like, I don't know, there was a time, like, when I first, was called out and, like, was, babyfurs and then, like, caretakers and stuff were, like, reaching out to me for the first time to, like, try and, like, comfort me, which was always amazing and always so appreciated. Like, I, like, got together with, like, a couple people that were, like, local and, like, tried to sort of, like, let them, like, care for me as a little or whatever, but, like, it never quite, like, I couldn't like ease myself up enough to, like, really, like, maintain little space for, like, any sort of adequate amount of time to have any sort of, like, substantial experience, like, with another person, in that sort of way. So it's like, then my brain started to form associations of, like, oh, okay, so, like, if I can't make this work with this person, then maybe it's just not going to work with anybody, and that, which is, of course, like, not necessarily true.
But your brain tells you the bad things because it wants to cut off the hurt. It's like, it'll never work, so I should never try.
Exactly. Your brain is just a pattern recognition machine, and so when you're recognizing patterns, it's hard to convince yourself that, well, maybe it's not the, maybe I'm not recognizing the pattern that I think I'm recognizing, like,
exactly.
And, yeah, for sure. So, like, the parts that I participate in now are, like, it's like, I wouldn't call myself, like, I don't know, I'm kind of, like, randomly regressing from moment to moment and then, like, growing back up, and then, like, I'm very much, like,
little flux.
Yeah, little flux. Like, I'm definitely unstuck in time is, like, how I kind of, like, phrase it in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I like to color and shit. Like, I love to wear, like, cute clothes. I love to fill my home with plushies and adorable things and put, like, goofy little, like, school posters or whatever, like, on the wall if I find them. And, like, I love to live inside of that. I love to have that vibe always happening. And I love to hang out with babyfurs, like, IRL. It's hard for me to regress, like, full on with like other people, except for the people that I'm like really really closest to. And like I can be like goofy and little in front of like other people that I don't know as well, but usually usually I only do it like in party settings where it's like
Everyone around here is accepting.
yeah, I can kind of hit and run people with like my cuteness, and then sort of just like feign away when like I've reached the limit of my comfort or whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to manage it. I think a lot of people get jealous of people who live like completely 24/7 and like they have like a caregiver and they sleep in a crib.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
And
I couldn't do that.
I had that problem too, and that's why I thought that I couldn't do like 24/7 diaper wear. Now I do it because I'm incontinent.
Hell yeah, I definitely leak all the time too for mostly as a combination of like HRT plus.
Oh yes, HRT makes you piss yourself so bad.
Being addicted to dissociative drugs for a long time too gave me a lot of issues with bladder control.
Hey, we're not on that question yet.
What's that?
I said we're not on that question yet.
Oh shit.
You're fine. But that was a good answer. Speaking of caregivers, do you have or want one, or do you ever caregive yourself?
I definitely caregive myself when I need to. I have a plush that an ex of mine made for me. That it's just a plush of my persona, and she's like the size of a Build-A-Bear, so Build-A-Bear clothes like fit on her. And
Aww.
yeah, it's one of my prized possessions for sure. And like when I need to comfort myself, what I do is I like pick it up and hold it like a baby and sort of like project my little self like into it, and then like I like let my mommy side like come out and like just like treat the plushie nice, and then like it helps like the little girl inside me like feel cared for and stuff. And like so I definitely have experience like caregiving myself. I have two really amazing boyfriends, and one of them definitely like plays a bit of a caretaker role for me, but not in really like a hardcore RP sort of way, just in sort of a general like he just likes to like cook stuff for me and like I don't know, just like bring necessities to me when I need them, and like to like hold me and like be nice to me and stuff, like and like he enjoys like seeing me little and stuff, but it's not really like he's like doming me or like running the situation, like it's not like I'm like truly like being guided through the experience of being little or anything like that. Like it's not it's pretty like it's pretty surface level.
I think that's how a lot of like relationships that involve someone in the community can turn out. I know we've experienced stuff like that, and I think people do get caught up in the power exchange part and think that like it. The thing I try to say is like there are a lot of things that can go along with ABDL, but like it's not the same as say like, oh yeah, I have a dom that spanks me. I bend over and I do the thing. It's not for everyone. It's not just doing the thing A then B DL. It's more like it's more like your social role is kind of baby in a way. Like for example, we had partners who like literally just sometimes would just pick us up and cradle us, and there would be a moment and it would be nice and it would be let down and then we'd go about our day. It's not like everything's not a scene.
Right, yeah. I think that's becoming a more common style for like littles too, to like interact with that kind of thing as more and more people are more and more ADHD, like as time goes on. You know, it's like nobody has the attention span to like act have a scene anymore.
Oh gosh, I think that was a big deal for us later on in relationships where it's like, gosh, I really want to do like a full scene, but it's just like it's so many spoons and saying up
Right? Yeah,
and
it's
all this
like
stuff.
if it's not gonna just happen, if I have to like be an architect about it, like and like lay out a blueprint, it's like there's 10,000 other things that'll grab my attention between point A and point. Never mind.
BDL, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh. Blah, 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 blah. Does ABDL affect your clothing choices?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I my fashion really like fluctuates a lot. It's like when I want to be cute, I'll put on like I got some like little shorteralls, and like I'll put on some like wacky like leggings. I have a lot of cool leggings that are like different on one leg than the other leg, like different patterns and stuff. And
Oh, those are
like,
kick
colorful.
ass.
Yeah, for sure. And I got a big pair of moon boots that I really love.
Moon
That
boots?
like
You have moon boots?
I got moon boots. Yeah, like
How'd you get moon boots?
I got moon boots at a thrift store.
Damn it.
And yeah, and I was super lucky. And I love them, and they make me feel like Mega Man when I put them on, and it's
I
fucking
want
awesome.
moon boots. I've been looking for moon boots ever since when the new Animal Crossing came out, and they have shoes that are just moon boots, and they slide on. There's no laces. They look really, really comfy, and you're just like, whoa, I'm a Super Saiyan. And
Yeah,
I'm just
I
like,
love those big
ugh.
blocky boots.
I need some. And when you look them up on Google, all you get are like stupid snow boots.
I mean, yeah, I mean they're fucking like fucking way too expensive when they're brand new, and they don't last for shit either. The heel on them, like you can't wear them outside really for that long. Like the heel wears down on them so fast. It's so totally never worth the money to buy them new. But I found like a used pair at a thrift store for like fucking like $27 or something, and I was like, holy fucking shit, these fucking shoes are supposed to be like $110. Like this is probably my only opportunity ever, so I fucking got them, and now I'm like scared to like wear them outside because I know the heel will go through, and then I'll be like, oh fuck, but what if I can never own a pair of moon boots again? Like
You must learn to make moon boots yourself, young Padawan.
oh my god, if I could do that, I would be fucking swimming in fucking money.
Yeah, people in chat are talking about it too.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Furry
Moon
needs to
boots.
step up and start
Yeah.
making custom moon boots.
Oh yeah, I gotta clarify to the chat that I'm not talking about moon shoes, the trampoline shoes. I'm talking about moon boots, which is like a fashionable women's winter footwear from the 80s that looks like Mega Man's legs.
Yes.
But yeah, I love to wear candy. Ravers introduced me to candy. Do you know anything about candy?
Wait, I guess I don't, cause I thought you just meant like candy that you eat. Do you mean like candy necklaces?
Sort of. Yeah.
Is it drugs?
It's no, it's not. It's not drugs.
It's not drugs. Okay.
Nah. Candy. It's spelled Kandi, and it's these. This is what they sound like. A little ASMR.
Whoa.
But they're just these like plastic bead like sort of friendship bracelets that like you can make. They have like letter beads that you can like spell stuff out on, and like ravers, when they go to raves, they always have a bunch of these like cute little like plastic pony bead like bracelets on that say different things, and then when they make friends with other ravers that they meet at the rave, they exchange candy, and then over time, as you like go to more like shows and stuff and meet like new people and stuff, you suddenly like your wrist is always covered in like all of these like really cool happy memories that you've made with like all these strangers that you've met. So kind of it's customary in sort of my, I guess, like friend circles here now, like the furry friend circles and raver friend circles, everybody's always like making and exchanging candy, and it's a really, really cute and beautiful way to tell your friends that you love them. I definitely recommend it to everybody.
I will definitely put that on a list of things I want to get into. I've definitely wanted to rave for a while. Closest I have is like raves at maybe like a furry convention.
OMG. Then I'll say it again. If you ever find yourself in Seattle, hit me up and I'll try to see if there's like a show going on or something, because they're only just now starting back up slowly, like one here and there, like, you know, post COVID, like people are starting to throw like house shows and stuff again.
If
But
you
like,
build them, they will come.
yeah, exactly. Like exactly. And that's it. And that's why I feel like truly like Seattle is like the place that like everybody's like wanting to migrate to, and stuff. Like the furries, the intersection, the furries and the ravers used to be like two totally different spheres out here. Like there's a lot of people who are furry like visual artists for a living, or just like popular, like I guess like Twitter furry people. I don't really like hang out with any of them because they're all very afraid of their reputations being damaged by like my presence, understandably.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, you know what's actually funny about that? Because I mentioned it earlier. It's a callback. It was almost like a one of those things in stories is like foreshadowing. I don't want to say I don't care about my reputation, but I don't have a big enough reputation for it to be a big super deal. And the people who like are most involved in supporting us in our community, like I think trust our judgment enough to be like, okay, if we decide to do this thing, then like obviously we're not just like some terrible monster. I hope.
Oh yeah, the it's absolutely key. Like, you're doing it exactly the right way, which is that you're coming out of the gate, like building like a name for yourself, while also directly putting all of the stuff that you're into like on the table shamelessly. Because when you don't do that, or if you don't know yourself well enough, to know like what your, you know, deeper, darker, whatever kind of things are, like, if you shit, I lost my train of thought. Entirely, my brain completely deleted itself in the middle of that sentence.
Oh
What were we
yeah.
talking about?
Diapers? I'm pretty sure we're talking about diapers.
Probably something about diapers, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Shit.
Like totally pissing your diapers. What we're talking about? No, not candy bees. We had passed that point. Oh, reputations, and you were saying that it was like, oh yeah.
Oh right, yeah. If you come out of the gate, if you come out of the gate building a reputation for yourself while already putting all of your like, you know, deepest parts of yourself on the table to begin with, that is 110% like the best way to go about it. Because if you don't know those things about yourself, or if you're not willing to show them from the get-go, but then you build like momentum, then you gain popularity, and then people know who you are, and there's suddenly a part of you that like you have to hide like very deeply for survival, and like and it becomes very scary.
Very fast.
Yeah, very fast. So I think that the way that you're doing it is the absolute best way to do it.
I mean, I'm lucky we were able to get on the ground floor with that, because I mean, it still feels like a lot of bad things had to happen for us to be where we are now. Because you know, we had gotten support from a friend who basically became our benefactor and like gave us money to not just live but to pursue streaming and VTubing.
Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome.
And like we owe like almost all of our equipment to this person. Our gaming computer that we keep forgetting is like a big ass gaming computer, because we'll be playing with friends and it's like, oh shit, my thing's not running, and it's like, wait, it was running fine on mine. I'm just used to having like really busted shit, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I actually have something good for once. And
hell yeah.
And it feels weird to have been given this opportunity. I wanted to do it for such a long time, and now doing it, it's like, okay, got bitten by a radioactive VTuber. How do I stay true to myself? I mean, we were already with Bab stuff before that, and we had mentioned B stuff vaguely, but a lot more recently we've been mentioning it a lot, especially because as a plural person, we've had to deal with someone in our personal life feeling as though in being plural, we were like telling people not to seek mental health help, and that we were basically like a kind of shitty like anti-medicalist. and it like was a wake up call to, oh shit, eventually something's gonna happen. Someone's going to be like, hey, this is a bad thing you do, and it's gonna be like, oh, I just took it for granted that like everyone wasn't thinking of me in bad faith in the first place. But I have been a lot more loud about that, been more loud a little bit about our history with the abuse, and just been like, oh yeah, no, being a system is okay. You don't need to be integrated. Integration is kind of messed up, and we can have a bigger conversation about that. But I'm not like anti-DID or trying to assign people DID. We have a lot of systems in our community, and so I'm sure someone's gonna be like, well, you must be converting people. And it's like, I can't make someone a system just like I can't make someone trans. They already were.
Yeah, for sure. I think that suggestibility is a powerful thing, and I think that there is a lot to talk about that with, especially in concern to like plurality and stuff. But I don't think it's necessarily needs to be viewed as a negative. I think that like being plural is sort of an incredible and amazing tool for expanding and dimensionalizing the self, and like making like I don't know, it was explained like I my first, hang on a second,
No problem.
I'm going to go pee. When I come back, tell me to tell the story of the first plural person I ever interacted with.
Okay, story of first plural person. Got it.
Yeah, okay, I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. Huh. She's going potty, and I'm gonna go potty in my pants. Tell the story of the first plural person you met. So this is probably our interview that has been the most chill. Like, we've had good interviews. Like, Dusk was almost crying after the interview that he did. He had a lot of good feelings and times. Drizzle has been overwhelmed by emotions as well. And Punk was actually like really surprised by the person who had the military background that she talked to. Like, a lot of us have had like very powerful experiences. And I'm like, whoa. Shooting the shit. I mean, Dax was also really good for Drizzle. But I guess in a way, we are laying down our hair a lot more with talking about like some of the things that we're about, because we have been scared about talking about them, and like even like losing friends and stuff over it. I mean, we're only gonna be talking about it more, so it's only gonna so any amount of like pushback that we get in the coming days, and of course when we post this on YouTube, I can only imagine when we post more videos. But then I guess it's gonna become part of our brand that we talk about this stuff, and I think that that's okay, because I think people can get better, and we owe it. Hi, welcome back.
I don't know what's going on, but I am back.
Okay. While I hydrate myself and stretch, you were gonna tell us the story of the first plural person you met.
Yes. Okay. So, when I was in university, which I was in university for only a year, I had finished I spent 4 years getting my 2-year English degree from community college, and then I went to university for 1 year as a music major, and then I dropped out because I ran out of money to go to college, and also because I already knew how to make music. But but while I was in university, I met this person who turned out to be people, and their system was like they had this sort of middle neutral guy who was like really into like horror movies and like specifically like crafting horror masks, and they were really good at it. They were like very, very talented. But they had this sort of middle neutral persona who was very nice to me, like was one of the few people who was very nice to me in a way that I liked, like as a trans person, and they were like exploring their own sort of queer experience too. But they had like these two other headmates where like one of them was like this very like sweet and innocent, like pure like girl who like represented like I don't know, their Freudian superego or whatever. And then the like headmate on the other side of the neutral persona was this like very aggressive like demon type creature. And I was extremely fascinated by this person, and was like extremely interested in like learning more about what was going on with them, because I had never encountered a person like that before. And they're kind of the opposite of a lot of plural people who are online, who are like very, very anti like every representation of like plurality in media and stuff. Like they're always like, oh, they're like DID is so misrepresented and stuff. Like, but this person was like very obsessed with like depictions of like DID in media, and like I had never known anything really about it before, and it ended up being that like I was making their like neutral persona feel too happy, and the like angry like protective like demon one started to perceive me as like a threat to the other two, and started being extremely mean to me, and threatened to kill me.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, holy shit, okay, I guess we are not hanging out anymore. Which was sad, because we had a lot of really cool times where it was just like 2 a.m. and we would just fuck off, like go away from campus and just like walk through graveyards and like, you know, do like stupid like punk teen shit. And but yeah, I don't know, like that person really made like a huge impact on me. Like we became like very close, and like had a lot of like in-depth conversations about like, you know, psychology and stuff. And like years went by, and like eventually I started to sort of understand that, like, you know, that sort of thing like existed within me, and that I've been expressing it for a while through like having all these different personas that make these different genres of music. But then I very, very quickly repressed the thought, and like pushed it back really hard, because I was dating somebody who had a lot of trauma at the hands of like a former partner with a DID.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I became very scared of the idea of that. So I repressed it really hard. And then when the first time that I ever took mushrooms with my not in my life, but the first time I took mushrooms with my now boyfriend Rolly, I had this experience, who is also plural. I had this experience where I was just watching them draw one of their OCs over and over again, like while tripping, and like I was like crying because I was like perceiving them as like this extremely beautiful machine that was like very precisely like carving out these like pictures of these like beautiful creatures. And I like had this experience where I was looking into like their OC's eye, like on their iPad screen, and like I felt like I got sucked into its eyeball, and that it had put like I fell back out of it, and something was inside of me that like wasn't there before, and I was like, oh my fucking god, like what's going on? And like I like felt this like static in my right arm, and like sort of lost control of it, like, and it like I like picked up a pencil with it, like feeling like it was moving all on its own. Like it picked up a pencil and like scrawled like some like weird words across like my sketchbook page, and like I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I was like I like was very like anxiously describing this sensation to Rolly, and he was like, oh, that's really funny, because like this character that I'm drawing is like a parasite, like that's their canon, is that like they're a parasite. And so I was like, oh my god, like did your OC like put a parasite baby in me? like, what's going on? And I
Um,
like, yeah, it was
I
very
didn't.
insane.
I expected a lot of things from this conversation. Did your OC put a parasite baby in me? Was not one of them.
Yeah, yeah. They put a parasite baby in me, and like we weren't even dating yet. How forward of them.
How forward?
Yeah, but like that was a crazy experience, and like obviously at this point I understand that like that what that it wasn't really actually that a parasite baby happening to me. It was more like, you know, this subconscious desire that I had to like acknowledge myself as plural was manifesting in that moment, and I was like, oh god, like okay, like this is a wake-up call. And then I like came out to my partner with my partner who had all of the DID related trauma. I like came out to them as plural finally, like through like tears, like because I had just had this insane experience. And it was really really hard for them at first, and then it got a little bit easier, and then our relationship tanked, and we had to separate.
Woof.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. This is
Yeah,
what
I realize that's a lot.
Oh no. Well, I mean, yes. Well, Huh. Okay. So, I guess I want to go on a tangent, and I will. But the other thing is, I want to even acknowledge this is a lot because I think I mentioned no, maybe I haven't this stream, but our life is generally always on fire. There's always some like crazy something amazingly bad happening in the background.
Feel that.
It's like a Saturday morning cartoon. It's like Monster of the Week. And so we generally are used to very heavy, very complicated life thingies. And the amount of tangents we have had to go on so far because of related experiences is kind of astounding. And this is definitely one that I was not expecting, because we also had a partner who had some trauma at the hands of a system, and it was a big deal for us because we let them know before we even started seeing them, but eventually our abuse stuff happened. And so I also feel really bad, like, you were with two disassociative systems in a row, and you got treated not so kindly. Hope you don't hate systems now.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, I also wanted to mention it because I remember it clawing at my head around the time that they would talk about the system that they had previously been with, because it was like, they're just using systemhood as an excuse to be racist or homophobic and stuff like that. It's like, you can't have a racist headman. It's like, you had just mentioned there was someone in this system that you had befriended who would who said they would kill you. Like, systems, people are different. I mean, I'm not saying, it's valid, stay in your racist headmate. But if you have a toxic or a very not okay headmate, then like, that doesn't mean that you are secretly that. Like, you are your own person. And I think that really fucked us up for a while. And with our own thingies, not everyone in our system like literally did abuse, but we also know this, and as we say that, it could be used to be like, hey, look, you're trying to absolve yourself from responsibility.
Right. I think what it is, like, my perception of it is that every human being is capable of a full spectrum of, personhood or identity. Like, every single person contains inside of them the potential to think and act in any way. And so I think that, inherently there are parts of us that are very deeply rooted in sort of more like morose or violent sort of like tendencies. Like there's much pain in the world, and it's hard not to absorb that and then have it become a part of you. And I think that manifests for people in a lot of different ways, and I think that that's like it's it's important to keep in mind that it's like with plural systems, it's like people's headmates are just falling on different points of that spectrum, that infinite spectrum of personality, you know, like, and they can shift and they can, you know, like they're there, they're all there, and they're all serving purposes, they're all functioning for a reason. And it's like it's there's so many facets to consider when trying to you know, make a sort of like binary decision in your brain about how, if any action, you know, done by one headmate in the system or anything like that is, you know, morally sound or whatever. The word morally sound, like, even to me at this point, is like so
A loaded term.
nebulous. Like it means nothing. Like
Yeah. Everyone has
it's
morals. There's no central moral way to act.
right, yeah, it's like it's all so completely subjective, and it'll never ever be as clear cut, plain as day, like 1 and 0, like yes or no, like is this correct or incorrect, is this right or wrong, like in like everything always has more angles to it than that. And when plural shit gets in the mix, that just multiplies by thousands, you know, like
Oh yeah, for
possibilities.
sure. It's hard to navigate, especially as a
Totally.
system yourself. And just like being trans or something, and being careful about what bathroom you go into, like systems aren't like out here looking to like hurt people, like try to minimize the damage. The amount of like repression that happens, sometimes even unconsciously, sometimes even when you already know you're a system, that happens just because, well, these people expect a certain thing out of me, then I better act like my headmate that does it, even if I'm not them.
Right. Yeah, it's fuck. My brain deleted itself again, probably because I smoked weed.
That's okay. I did it too. I mean, it definitely made you esoteric. But hey, you're in good company.
Sometimes, yeah, you gotta. I don't know. I'm always all over the place. I've I don't know. I've done too many drugs, and now my brain is just like this.
Yeah, make do with what you got. Oh right.
Where were we in the?
Well, we were
What? Yeah,
actually
what?
before, because we were talking about headmates. You talked about the first pro system you met and your
Oh yeah.
own journey. Shit. I mean, I remember why I went on a tangent. I went on a tangent because like the assumptions of like what a plural system is, or like what a single person in the system is, and finding yourself. But I guess we can move on. Um. Oh, but first, yo, Chad, did y'all know you can disrupt the interview with channel redeems? Diaper check. Well, actually, I'm dry because while Hushy was going at length about their plural experience, I took the opportunity to take a quick change because
Awesome.
I was literally leaking and doing damage control while doing the interview because I'm a latchkey little. We do it better.
Yeah, I'm not exactly dry, but I'm also not wearing a diaper. I'm just wearing panties. I'm just never really truly dry. I'm always sort of leaking, which is like I'm just used to it. And like nobody who I'm like close to in my life like minds, so it's just like a thing.
I mean, that's kind of how our life had been before we started wearing diapers full time. We wore training pants pretty much all the time because we're super duper leaky, and we've had stress incontinence. That's a form of incontinence. All of our life, pretty much, or for almost as long as we can remember. And we were in denial about it because of a lot of reasons, but also because the interpretation of like what it means to be incontinent usually means, oh, you piss yourself uncontrollably, and you remember that thing you just said about there's no ones and zeros about
Right,
how
yeah.
people are? Yeah, they think it's
Yeah.
all or nothing. It's like incontinence. Oh, you mean you have no toilet control?
Nah, like let me introduce you to the entire gray spectrum of incontinence.
Oh yeah, I found spots
Here's
in
all
my
the
panties today, and I was like, I haven't even worn these panties in like 6 months. The
Yeah,
fuck.
no,
I'm already
it's
leaving tracks in them.
yeah. My
Pants
yeah,
pisser spectrum disorder.
yeah. I'm on the spectrum.
uh, um. Clothing choices. How did you get into ABDL? Damn.
Oh, that's a good question. I guess through it was like in 2017. I ran a net label called Barkbeat Clubhouse, and it was like just a little collective of like me and some of my friends who would just like make music together. Like we would do like little challenges with each other. Like we would do like, okay, like we have like everybody gets 1 hour to like remix the same song, and like then we would all have like these shitty little like funny like 1 hour remixes, like and like do little things like that, or like make like compilation albums together. And like I had a friend named Nin, uh also known as Famatory, um who I'd pal around with a lot there. And then like they like acknowledged to me that they were like into ABDL stuff, and like they were really like very casual about it, in a way that I'd never ever seen anybody sort of be like. And like
Like you didn't have to do a big explanation.
yeah, no, like they were just very casual about it, and they were like down to answer whatever questions I had and stuff. And like they eventually, I was interested, and I was like, oh, like this seems nice. And um then like they put me into a I'm not sure like actually what Nin's pronouns are these days, or if they're even going by Nin. But
Wow.
I got put into a Discord server like with some of their friends, and like um and like was talking to like Babyfurs here and there, like just sort of secretly. And like they were all really nice to me. They were all like they were like the nicest community of people like that I had ever encountered. They were all so sweet and very caring of one another, and very interested in helping each other like have a better time. And like it was very sweet, and like very much like touched me like in the heart. And like I like eventually like bought like a diaper and like put it on like secretly, like not letting like my partner at the time know, who I was like living with. And like I don't know, that's kind of how that started to spiral for me.
Machuya, thank you for following. Your life will be filled with happiness and sadness in its future. Thanks for joining the Fluffy Fold. We're here for you. Knowing that there's a spectrum of incontinence helps me feel better about myself, because leaks suck. Indeed. Thank you for following, Hill Beams. Your future will be filled with happiness and sadness, but that's okay. On the Fluffy Fold, we're here for each other. Was there something else I wanted to say? Gosh, my, as you say, brain deleted its entire contents. You were talking about your first experiences in the community and learning about it. What do you think is the average person's perception of ABDL, and how did you perceive it before you found out?
I I encountered like the good side of it like uh immediately. Like I had no opportunity. I was never exposed to like ABDL like cringe content or whatever. Like my the person I was dating at the time was really into like cringe culture and like cringe compilations and stuff. So they were very aware of it, and like were very not they were nice to me about it at first, and then very quickly became not nice to me about it. And but I think the average person's perception of ABDL is they're cautious, they're confused, But I think that the magnitude, the rate at which it is expanding as a, I don't want to say trend, but like the awareness of what it is and the participation of it is growing all the time, and like the community is huger than ever. And like I said earlier, it's only going to become more popular, like 110% guaranteed.
Oh
And
yeah, that's why I tend to just call it a culture.
yeah, exactly. It is a culture, and I think that the average person's perception of ABDL is very rapidly moving towards being more accepting of that kind of thing, because it's among like people, among like Zoomer millennial cusps and like younger, it is becoming more and more understood unanimously that being a kid was way cooler than being a grown up, and that like nostalgia rules, and that like, you know, fashion used to be more fun, and like all this other stuff. Like it's has a lot to do with 9/11, I think, personally. um
I
I'm
know
dead
you.
ass
I
serious.
know you are, but I don't know. It's a perfect collision of thoughts. I'm just
Yeah,
like, excuse me? Excuse me?
yeah.
It's like, yeah, and like the Babyfur proliferation of the entire internet and this acceptance and this, you know, a whole amazing thing.
Oh, I can
Oh,
go
it's
so
because
deep.
of
I can go
9/11.
so deep with this stuff. I've thought about this stuff endlessly. I like, remember earlier when I was talking about hypercapitalist diaper future? It's real.
Oh, wait, I guess this is the time that we should mention it then. All right,
All
tell me
right, all
about
right,
hyper-capitalist diaper future.
all right. So, hypercapitalist diaper future. 9/11 happened, and it instantaneously changed the culture of like the average American household entirely. Like all of a sudden, an entire generation of children instantly had their innocence ripped away from them. Life became very scary. Every child was now at all times constantly being reassured that like danger was imminent. Um, and so naturally they grow up and they crave the 90s, because it was when late capitalism was sort of peaking in its sort of like levels of like comfort and convenience for like the average American, like you know, middle class household or whatever. And then suddenly everything came crashing down, and like all of these millennials suddenly had every ounce of their innocence ripped away from them. Then Zoomers continued to be born, and they never had any of that security or comfort or safety to begin with, because the world was already just starting to be so fucked that, like, you know, they're like children born more and more children are born very hopeless without rudimentary comforts, and like um I believe that as more people, like the population of the earth has more than doubled since the 1930s, and like it's still just like growing, and I feel that in order to keep up with demand, industry is going to have to like, you remember that whole like debacle with like Amazon like not giving enough bathroom breaks to like their employees and stuff?
Yeah, and they had to pee in bottles.
Yes, in order to meet the demands of like an ever expanding like consumer base, like manufacturing and industry is going to have to like increase like their rate of production somehow. And so what I think that corporations understand this very fully, and I think that this is the exact reason that if you go down any toy aisle in any department store in America, like in the year 2021, you will see almost every fucking toy is like themed after poop or pee or diapers, and it's like doesn't matter if it's girls' toys or boys' toys. It is like, I believe that for quite a while now, corporations have been trying to desensitize children to their own waste and destigmatize incontinence wear, and not only that, but also turn it into something that is nostalgic and comforting for them. as like a branding thing, so that when they get older and they enter the workforce, they can market a new convenience to them, being diapers, and they will love it and they'll eat it up, because it reminds them of everything that they loved when they were a child. And then then corporations will be able to more easily get away with giving their employees less bathroom breaks, because if they destigmatize diapers, then they can start normalizing diapers. And so I, despite all of this insane and incredibly bleak sort of projection of the future that I'm 100% guaranteed is real and happening, I don't think it's necessarily cause for alarm so much as reassurance that going forward, being a babyfur will only become more lucrative.
Well, I guess I'm glad I got in on the ground floor of multimedia, interdisciplinary, babyfur media marketing. Thank you for diaper pilling me and putting me front and center at the cusp of the singularity of our diaper overlords.
Yes, somebody please, for the sake of future convenience, somebody please clip my explanation of hypercapital cyberfuture, because that is the best that I have ever delivered it in my life.
It's too big for a clip.
Shit, okay.
I'm gonna have to highlight it later.
All right, cool.
That's definitely going in the essay. Fuck
yeah. Hell fucking yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a video about how like being a baby fur like expands your mind and makes you a better leftist.
I mean, I don't doubt that. Yeah.
we get pretty with our reasoning for things. That was actually really it's kind of hard for me to be like, no, there's no way that can happen. It's like, nah, that sounds legit. On the
thing
level
is too, like the more like you think about it and just sort of start observing things, the more sense it starts to make. Like comfort is like the one thing that like nobody really has anymore, but that everybody absolutely craves, and corporations absolutely know this, and that is why like comfort objects and like baby type like age regression sort of imagery and shit is like going to just become increasingly more marketable, because it's the when you are a child, like you can, I don't know, you can romanticize your childhood in any sort of way, and like no matter how shitty it was, and like I think that like I think we're just going to see a lot more diapers going forward is really the bottom of it for me. And I think it's going to be really weird and cool. I think it might whip, it might kick ass, but also it's gonna be like really, it's gonna cause a lot of mixed feelings.
I'm sure. I mean, I've noted, and I've been paying attention to like incontinence supplies for a while before like actively participating in the community, and it was like, yeah, no, there's definitely. I mean, in a general sense, there is a big push to normalize incontinence and incontinence wear. And honestly, the ABDL lean is more big, no pun intended, than ever, in the nostalgia that you were talking about. What was it? I think it's called like Little Squirts, or not Cushies. There is a brand of diapers that you can get from an incontinence seller that is not a ABDL seller. They're North Shore.
Oh, North Shore. Yeah. For sure.
And that's like not even the main diaper that Babs actually buy from their site. Most Babs buy Mega Maxes, because Mega Maxes are it was Crinkles. Mega Maxes are 1,000 times better than Crinkles. Gosh, we said we would never do diaper reviews. We said this to ourselves, but I will say on record, Crinkles fucking suck. Don't wear them. As an incontinent person, I can't recommend them. I literally got paper cuts from my Crinkles, so nah.
Oh my god,
nah,
that sucks.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, yeah, I guess the way I see it is like, we're kind of on the precipice now of like, the way that things go is like, first something is taboo, then it's destigmatized. Then it's normalized. Then it's popularized.
Shit,
And
you're
I
just
think
talking about recuperation. That's just capitalist recuperation. Are you
It
fucking
is.
serious?
It
It's
is, and
just
that's
like
what's
gay people with the. I mean,
that's what's happening to diapers. That's what's happening to diapers. Is diapers? We're right on the edge now of we're entering destigmatization. That's where we're at in that process. We're gonna see it go all the way to popularization. I guarantee it.
this popular one of the Hollow Live girls, one of the most popular VTubers, literally has a pacifier in like her like character alts. Sometimes she has a pacifier on. I don't know if she has it in her mouth on stream, but there are major VTubers who are babs. VTubers are changing the world, getting a lot of attention. At the cross of that, there's also gamers. Gamers don't want to get up for shit. Gamers already are all over the place making jokes about how if you wear diapers, you're a better gamer. And it's becoming
That's true.
it's becoming very, very unironic very quickly. We
That's
have
the
seen
thing.
it.
Diapers literally, like, there are so many baby products that literally streamline your lifestyle, like optimize the way that you live. It's like you don't have to get up to go to the fucking bathroom, and it does make you a better gamer. And like looking, I eat baby food all the time because it's super easy to eat no matter how fucked up on whatever drugs I am, and also it's like a quick serving of fruits and vegetables instantly. Like it's like if it's good enough for babies, then it has to be like, healthy. Like it's like it's so convenient to and like I use a pacifier all the time because I like gnash my teeth a lot, especially in my sleep. Like having baby products just makes my life so much easier, and I think more and more people are just going to catch on to that. Like it's so much easier to let yourself indulge in those sorts of comforts, and like I don't know, it whips, it's dope. It's kicks ass.
It yes. Sorry, wait. Sorry, my brain broke down the nebulous highway that is this entire train of thought, because yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
whoa. I'm glad I met you.
Oh my god, likewise. I've been having a really good time.
I'm glad, because this stream is about to become 3 hours, and if you
Oh my
have
God,
no
we
intention
said
of
we wouldn't
stopping,
do
I'm
it.
fine. I'm totally
We
fine.
said we wouldn't do it. Oh my god.
Oh, I was just trying to be professional and respectful of your time.
I'm having a pretty good time. I feel like I will need to like leave and eat some food at some point. I definitely have to pee again, so that's my first priority.
Okay, do you want to pee now?
Yeah, I'll pee now.
Okay. Puppy, go pee. Okie dokie. Wow. So this is a very fun interview. Wow. Never thought I'd get diaper pilled. I thought I would be diaper pilling folks, not the other way around. Well, I feel very, very ingratiated in the baby fur community now. I mean, we get a lot of, what's that thing called? Imposter syndrome? Because, like, well, I'm not as big as these artists that draw and do the thingy things. And it's like, we stay in our own lane as much as we can about, like, the stuff we know piss people off because of, like, political stuff. And people don't want their politics and their baby furs. And we kind of fly right in the eye and face of that. But we do try to participate and do stuff. And it'd be weird being like, oh, I'm baby, but also overthrow capitalism. It just... the latchkey little again, you know? And so I'm kind of like in awe. I mean, we've been in awe for a little bit since we announced doing the essay. The amount of attention we've gotten and the amount of people who been in our community and gotten involved with us, and we've been able to talk to in Discord and stuff, have been super kick ass. And I feel really dumb for trying to like be a respectful enough baby fur for like normies to like us. Like, it was dumb and gross, and I hate it, and I'll never do it again.
Are you talking about? I'm talking about being the I know the archetype of, like, outcasted person who's like, oh, but like my subculture, like you know, like appealing to like normal people, being like, no, it's cool, like we're clean, we're safe, like you know, we're good, like whatever, like
Yeah.
but in a way that's like, you know, trying to repress like the more like, I don't know, like
The,
sexual side, or etc., like the
oh
whatever
yeah.
sort of like deeper, like more intimate side of things, like being like, that's not really like, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you unpacked it really beautifully. Though the sexual part we didn't necessarily lean away from. We actually thought we would be a black sheep because of it, because most other public baby furs aren't sexual about it. And plus, we're a gray ace. We're on the ace spectrum, and so we know that there's gonna be people who are gonna be like, well, like, which side are you on here? Because like we do identify with the people who don't have any sexual like thing for it at all, but like literally we got into it because of sexual. We got into it because of kink. And I don't think we've ever technically had said that out loud, but like this was very much a kink for us when we first got into it. And the longer we've been in, the more it is equal, had gotten equilibrium with all the care parts.
Oh, I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that. I'm like it's like way less a like aspect of my sexuality like than it used to be. It's like when it was new for me, it was definitely a lot more of a sexual thing, and now it's like my sexuality's been kind of rounded out by like all these other different interests, and like ABDL is just like a part of it.
Yeah,
now. Like
it's just one part of it. Um. Oh, right. I was gonna say that. Thank you, Salty Dragon. I am also very salty right now. I am covered with sweat and filled with pee. Thank you for joining the Fluffy Fold. You'll find happiness and sadness in your future, but at least you'll have some friends along the way. Oh, right, repressing IRSLs. We, so, literally, we kind of came at a crossroads because when we first started streaming, we looked up to see if there were other Babyfur streamers, and there were. We, I guess we wanted to be somewhat of a mix, because we found one streamer who was like they have ABDL as this hashtag for all their stream titles, and they were very loud about it, and it's like, I will not be silenced. And the other one was like more chill with it and was part of like the whole aesthetic, and like they even like talk about it and it comes up and stuff, but like it wasn't like the main thing. And I guess we wanted to be like, okay, like we're upfront about it, like it's not weird, but like being, you know, ourselves, know it enough that like if someone did have a problem with Babs, they would probably not have the stomach to watch our streams because it just was a little bit too indulgent. And most of the Babs that we've interacted with who are also content creators are almost exclusively not sexualizing any part of their little space or their content. And that's not exclusively true for us. And we want to do essays. Oh shit, wait, what? Oh shit, Neko Nefret, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub. Really appreciate it.
yeah, thank you.
Now you're sub. Now you can watch it all the time. Now you're my subscriber. Now you're my subscriber.
Hell yeah, OMG. I have no idea even what any of this shit really even means, because I have no idea how Twitch works, but
it means you get no commercials.
Oh, that's awesome. I love no commercials. Thank you so much.
Oh, I guess if anyone else is wondering if they should sub themselves, become a sub to Fluff Bites. As people are being done, you don't get any, if you're new to Twitch, calm down. If you're new to Twitch, with a subscription, you get to not have to face any ads. Although as a streamer, you'll only get ads from us when you first come into stream, because we don't run pre-roll, we don't run any other ads because we find it kind of gross.
Yeah, piss freak.
That being hype train incoming.
Everybody's subbing.
Oh shit. Oh. We have a time for a hype.
Crazy.
This is the first time I've ever this happened. I'm trying to explain. This is supposed to be being like, yeah, and you get stickers.
OMFG.
We made emotes. We made like emotes from some really awesome Babyfur artists that we sometimes commission. We made them, and we're really proud of them. And you might like them. They're really cute. We got ones that say Soggers, cause it's Poggers but soggy.
Soggers? Oh
Soggers.
my god.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I didn't come up with it, but I did steal it.
Holy shit.
Thank you, Lillian, wherever you are. Yes, Soggers. So yeah, thank you for the hype train. And thank you for all the gifted subs. This is how we pay our bills. So yes, thank you a lot. I really appreciate all the love and support. And all the great conversations. Thank you, Snack Tea, for all the gifted subs. And whew. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
This has been definitely one of the most kick-ass streams I've ever been on.
I am glad. This is one of the most kick-ass streams I've ever done. And
Hell
also,
yeah.
as me existing as myself, probably only like my third or no, this is like my fifth stream. This is like my fifth stream, like, as
OMG.
me. So I'm like, whoa. As a fellow Babyfur streamer and indie creator, I wanted to pitch in. Thank you so much, Salty Dragon. I'll have to check you out.
Thank you, Salty Dragon.
Punky LD Sab, thank you for following. Welcome to the Fluffy
fuck
Fold.
Yeah, Sab fucking rules. Shouts out Sab.
You will experience happiness and sadness in your future. I'm experiencing
Happiness
a little
and
bit of the
sadness.
Speckio, thank you for the 100 biddies. Salty, thank you. Or Salty Dragon, because we have multiple Salties in chat now. Salty Dragon,
OMG.
thank you for the 500 biddies. Thank you for 100 more biddies.
I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
They're doing nice things.
They're being nice, clearly.
It's okay. It's too much for your brain right now. I'll explain it later. Gay Furry Satan, thank you so much for following. Happiness and sadness are in your future. For sure. But we're along on the ride together. Thank you for the 100 biddies, Pissy. What were we... I was talking about being an open Babyfur content creator, how we wanted to repress that part, and we felt weird because sexuality and stuff, and being open about that stuff. And I guess we don't feel that way as much anymore, especially right now. But it was a slow process, and even all the people that we've, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're actually the first person we have interviewed who wasn't ace.
Oh, really? Holy shit.
Yeah, it wasn't, and we didn't know it up front for most of those people.
No, yeah, I definitely fuck. It's yeah, it's sorry everybody, but it's true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've had my times though. Like I've gone through very long, sort of like cyclical phases, recurring phases of like definitely feeling very like unsexual and like not really wanting anything to do with sex, but it was usually in like past situations where like I was not really comfortable in the relationships that I was in, like for various reasons, and that kind of manifested as me like losing a lot of like my inclination to like be sexually active. But now I live a very, very like the people I live with are make me feel very comfortable, and my partners make me feel very comfortable, and so now I fuck.
I love that ending. I think it's really great. I want to acknowledge that you that like that journey is like a really valid and awesome journey, and I think that a lot of people with sexual trauma do tend to be like, oh, I'm ace. And I think that identifying as ace during any time in your life is totally valid and okay, and you come to your own conclusions later on, and if it feels right for you in the moment, go do it. You don't need my permission, but I will give it to you if you like it. Yeah, woo! Totally. Hype train success! Thank you so much, everybody. This was our first ever hype train. Holy fucking shit. I don't even know what that means. We got
That was pretty
12
fucking
subs in
cool.
the community. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us. Oh, and thank you, Hushy, for gifting a tier 1 sub as well. I see you. Yeah, I'm glad we rolled out some new fucking emotes, because I'd be really embarrassed. We put a lot of work in those new emotes. Holy shit. Something butter sauce. Okay. Repression bad. That's over. Next
Yeah, we got
question.
this one. Put a bow on it. This is cold case solved.
Cold case solved. Has ABDL affected how you present, perform, or regard your own gender?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I honestly feel like skipping this one just because it's like I have no idea how to answer it.
That's totally fine. Your comfort is also important.
Hell yeah, thank you very much.
For sure. Funny skips right into another one. That's pretty big. Have you ever been harassed or called a pedophile because of ABDL?
Oh hell yes, I have. I've probably been called the P word more than maybe anybody in the fandom in recent, like years, I guess. Like there was a span of time where hundreds of people, hundreds of strangers were calling me pedophile, like tens of hundreds of times, like, and it got so constant to me that now the word is like white noise. It like literally carries no meaning in or like gravity in my brain anymore, just because I've read it
So many times.
so many times in reference to myself. And like I just like I don't know, now when I see that word I almost think it's funny, like like I can't even like it's like the only way my brain can like disarm that is just be like, no, that doesn't fucking mean anything, like it's whatever.
I mean, I think
which is just a damn shame in its own way. That like their intention to like punish me for this thing that they like perceived me as having done that I like didn't actually do. Like it just sort of really made my relationship with it really weird, and now I like can't be like an average reasonable person when I hear the word pedophile. Now when I hear it, it's like air blowing through my ear, like
I think,
which is weird. Like, but I don't know. It's like it's interesting people's intentions versus the results.
oh well, I mean, they want to say a pathway to hell is paved with good intentions or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who do really bad shit thinking they're doing good, or people who use like their moral compass or their what counts as justice to them as like the overall barometer of if they're doing something good or bad.
Totally, yeah. That's what we were talking about earlier, where like, morals being infinitely subjective, like
Oh,
based
yeah.
on everybody's experience and values and etc.
And I know a lot of people are challenged by it and they want to be on the right side of history about things. And I mean,
Right. There's a lot of social pressure
mm-hmm.
to take a stance on everything.
And I think that like, I guess reclaiming being a ABDL and Babyfur or whatever is like really important, because like how he said that we wanted to be very self-hating about it in our online presence. Like that is like totally a thing. The fact that there is a reasonably large amount of people who are in this world into ABDL shit, but also kind of are like in like some of the worst parts of the internet, mostly because they don't find acceptance elsewhere, and it pushes you further into dark circles. And I mean, that's
Yes.
even fucking how like the alt-right pipeline
Yeah, no, it
goes.
totally fucking is. It absolutely is. And I've seen an alternate reality in my fucking mind. I've witnessed an alternate timeline where that happened because like I'm a big fan of like there's an old extremely gnarly, very like viscerally fucked up like old series of Flash cartoons called Alfred's Playhouse about like a cartoon dog um who is a system, but that's all I'll say about it. It was made
Okay.
by this girl named Emily Eucas, and like she got her sort of like she got very popular starting at like very young age, like 14 or something, for these cartoons she was making, and then she started to build this identity for herself around shock content and being a shocking person, and like it drove her straight there to like alt-right, like neo-Nazi like territory, like and it's a real shame. And like because I know about her and her work and her legacy, like I like I can see an alternate reality in my head where that would have happened to me if I just kept leaning into being controversial. Like, or I might not have gone as far as her, but I can imagine a reality where it just got edgier and edgier, and then like started to talk with people who like would just like create a sort of echo chamber of anger and resentment about like the way that people like treat us for like our interest in media or like whatever, like or like the kinks that we participate in, or like etc, like
Yeah. I think it's a really easy thing to fall into like self-hate about. And
totally, yeah.
I think for some people it's like a scary thing that they have to hide from everyone they love and care about. And like we don't want that for people as much as we can help it. We try to cultivate good healthy spaces if we can. In our own life. And I think it's important to I guess just as corny as it sounds, to fucking like have some love for yourself and know where you're like, I guess, knowing in my heart that I'm not like a child abuser was hard in and of itself because of how
Yeah,
people are treated for being
yeah,
into bad stuff. I mean, once you come to that
totally.
bridge, you also have to come to the bridge like it doesn't matter. People are gonna treat you that way anyway. And I think
Yep.
getting that resilience about it and figuring out how you're
Drives
gonna
you
address
deeper.
it is
Yeah.
super important, especially like being like I guess out and proud online, because if you're doing the whole practicing your own home thing and you're just not telling anybody about it, or it's just like, oh yeah, I just like just do it on Twitter and I don't do anything else, like any amount of how you want to participate in the community is valid, but also like uh wanting better for yourself to be in an environment where it is okay is also like self-care and shit like that.
Of course, yeah, and it's like humans, like we're programs, like or I don't want to say humans because like we're not all humans here, but beings, like it's priority number one is always survival, and so and that's like really the core of like what causes so much of that like repression and like makes it so long term for so many people. But and like striving, yeah, that's why I'm so like enamored with the idea of like people migrating to the Pacific Northwest, because I like really truly feel like it's so much easier here for people to be themselves for a specific reason, which is that nobody like in Seattle, like people are far less confrontational than like any major city in like the like Midwest or the East Coast especially. And like people really here like are very like much more like kept to themselves, like generally more reserved and anxious, and like there's a variety of reasons for that. There's a variety of reasons that that is the air of Seattle. But a side effect of that is that it truly makes it extremely easy to like live your life, like present the way that you want to present, um and like receive very minimal sort of like backlash from like strangers, just like, you know, outside or whatever. Like, of course things still happen, people are still harassed, they're still, you know, assaulted, whatever, like uh but those things happen everywhere. um it's like, I don't know, I think that striving to put oneself into a like environment that is more conducive to their own growth and their own expression is like very, very admirable, and very, very much like something that I wish for everybody.
I've heard that from a lot of people I know who live on that side of the country. And I've also heard that, like, because of, like the political activism, a lot of more extremists, right nationalists, are actually fleeing. um, but that's just what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. It is nice to see that there are people like, I don't know, willing to be chill, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, it
let
was
alone the
truly.
whole place that like a lot of people are saying, yeah, no, it's chill here. Well, I mean, as chill as you can reasonably find.
Yeah, Seattle was like, when I first got here, Seattle, the general air of like, you know, strangers interacting with each other in public was a lot colder. um there's something called the Seattle freeze, which is like, oh wait, I won't go down that tangent. What I'm trying to say is that the when I was at the Chaz, that is really truly when I saw the city like open up and embrace itself like in a way that I simply had not ever before. Like the amount of like mutual aid that was occurring, the amount of like kindness and like cooperation that was occurring was unprecedented. Like, I do not think that it could have happened anywhere else, like in the country, in the way and to the scale that it did. Seattle really, like, the people of Seattle like really surprised me with like all that sort of like humanity that they were sort of like keeping hidden somewhere, like, you know, before. um so that was a really cool experience.
uh, I I honestly didn't expect you to have so much, I guess, experience with like the, I guess, the activism and stuff going on there. I mean, I've known others who've seen a little bit,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
I gotten tear gas and shit for sure. I watched a fucking cop uh like grab my friend's uh gas mask, pull the elastic forward, like mace their face behind the mask, and then just let the mask go and slap back onto their face.
That sounds like some cartoon shit. That's disgusting.
It was
What the
so
fuck?
fucked up. And like bringing them home and like helping them like wash their fucking eyes out and shit, and just like seeing them just in daze, just like in crazy pain with like just like swollen red like all across their everything, like, dude, oh my god, I it was fucking crazy. It was fucking insane. The Chaz was fucking insane.
That sounds like a really scary place to be.
Yeah, it was really scary, and I'm still processing all that stuff, you know? Like, it happened a year ago, but I'm still like little pieces of it keep coming back to me that I totally forgot about. Like, um yeah, I don't know. It was really something. There were people coming from all around too. Like, I like on the barricades. Mostly what being on the barricades was like, um we had graveyard shifts, so we would show up at like 10 p.m. and then we would there were like these sort of maybe six barricaded entrances to the Chaz, in like the surrounding streets, and so we had people on every single entry point, just sort of checking people that were coming in and out. We weren't like denying anybody access, but we were watching out so that we could communicate with people that were further in if we thought that something fucked up was about to happen. And like stuff like that, and like we'd have to like move barriers back and forth to like let like garbage trucks and stuff through, and like um there we would like there'd be like dudes in like big trucks with like giant American flags like hanging off the back, and like a tripoded like camera in their passenger seat. They would just drive around the Chaz like in circles, just over and over, just recording us, like, and just like staring at us. And like um there were fucking there were definitely like a fair number of people like at the Chaz, like, who were like open carrying just like firearms, like,
Wow.
which was nuts, and like made me buy a gun, uh, like
Holy shit.
yeah, I like, but at the same time, it was really beautiful. Like there was like these two girls. One of them was named Horsey, and one of them was named P. And there were these two trans girls who like were chilling on the barricades with us most of the nights, just like chain smoking like American Spirit black like cigarettes, and just like fucking around with each other and like making jokes at like, you know, fucking chuds or whatever that like come up to start shit, and like uh and like it was just like really like trans femme like flavored like bro like sort of like vibes, and it was actually like so awesome. And like um and those girls were hella fucking cool. I met lots of people who had come from like surrounding states, and like just because they heard that this was going on, like so many people like moved to Seattle, like to like live at the Chaz, like
Whoa.
which was crazy. Yeah, there were like people occasionally who were like, "Oh, I know you from the internet," and I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like,
Wow, that sounds like a bigger deal than all the people vibing at was the Area 51. Shit.
yeah,
That
nah,
sounds
the Chaz
amazing.
was fucking crazy. There were like a lot of uh like, you know, very like downtrodden people, like just like homeless people, and like very very much like addicts and stuff. And like it was amazing that like as like they people started to set up like tents where they would have like free like psychological like consultation, or like whatever, or like counseling. um and like there was some sort of like needle exchange established somewhere at some point, which is very cool. And like it was just so cool to see like people come together and like make something like that happen, like create a space where like what I would tell people who would come up to the barricade to ask what was going on, like to be like, what's this all about, like what's the deal with it, Chaz? Like what I would say to them is, I would say this is an experiment that the people of Seattle are doing to see if they can take better care of each other than the police can. And that one sentence like made it click for every single person who asked me. Of course, everybody had their own opinion about what the Chaz was all about, but like that was my perception of it, and so that's like that was the easiest way that I can describe it to people.
That sounds beautiful and transcendent.
Yeah, I'm never gonna do it again. But
Yeah,
when it was happening, I'm really glad that I got to do it. I'm really glad that I got to do it. But yeah, I'm still like unpacking all of my trauma from that. Like so I'm good. I'm good for a while.
that's fair. Do you feel like moving on?
Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Because my ears are starting to hurt from my headphones. But I've had such a good time. I've enjoyed this immensely.
Word.
Yeah, I definitely would like, as you go forward with like more media projects and stuff. I'm always happy to participate in whatever sort of conversational thing.
For sure. I'll keep you updated. I think even though we didn't get through all of it, I'm pretty sure I got more than enough.
Hell yeah. Let me know. Like, shoot me a link once this is on YouTube. I would really appreciate that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Probably a week or two, at most.
All right, word. And thank you all so much. Thank all of you wonderful people for fucking listening to me talk like a fucking crazy person for hours on end.
No, you weren't talking like a crazy person. You were just a mad bab.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate how nice you've been to me, all of y'all. And thank you so much for having me. I
Of course. Can I
Yeah.
make one request before you leave?
Sure.
Someone redeem Bad Babble. It makes me have to only use babbles instead of talking. Can you babble for just before you leave? Bye bye.
Bye. How do I leave the call? Shit, all right, peace, y'all.
Sorry, normally I bad babble for longer, but like it's gonna be hard to mitigate the rest of the stream if I babble continuously right now. We definitely didn't get through all the questions, but we talked at length for so long, and I'm definitely never like pressuring anyone to jump back in, especially because these interviews can be really traumatic. Though I'm glad we have fun, and damn, I need to step up my babble game. Hushy's babble game like makes me feel weak. I gotta step it up. Like, that was fucking amazing. Didn't even know. Chloroformed. Thank you. You got forehead kisses. I love how it was like talking about the Chaz at length. And then, oh yeah, can you bad babble, please? I'm so happy to be a Bab streamer and YouTuber. This is amazing. We couldn't do this without you folks. Thank you so much. There's been like so many fucking positive affirmation-y things. There's been like so many good vibes. And I really appreciate Hushy for shouting us out on Twitter and for even having the idea to put this as a stream in the first place. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And take care of yourselves. But if everyone's still here,